Sure.
But just to get it going, let's see. Let's see. I think we're good. Let me see the chat. All right, chat. Are we crispy, chat? Let me see. The stream is healthy.
Oh, you got that New York thing. I don't know any of your sports teams.
Oh, this is the this is New York Giants. Our American football.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, what's up, chat? Yo, you know how to represent Giants pride. You know what I'm saying? This past weekend, Giants beat the Minnesota Vikings, a higher place team.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now we're on to the next round. We're facing the number 1 seeded Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, yo! This episode's the New York flavor. That ass. AOB. I'm gonna have to bring out my New York lingo. I'm gonna have to go back to when I was younger. Hey, yo, son. Yo! I'm looking at the chat over here. Hey, what's up, everybody? Who's this guy with the hat? And what did he do to P-Rock? Nah, boy. This is Puerto Rock. This is New Yorican rock, bro. J-Hart. Oh, man. Why J-Hart got to mess things up? How about them Cowboys? Stop. Man, don't mess up the flow, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear about that nonsense. Hey, yo. We got any Philly fans up here? We coming for you. We coming for the Eagles. Hey, yo. He said if the Giants can do it, so can Xbox. Stop it. Stop that trash. Do not be. Listen, if you want to compare Xbox to a New York team, I even say this myself. It's the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks is the Xbox in the NBA. It's always next year. We never get a good season. It's always promises. That is literally, like, if you want to pick a sports team that is equivalent to Xbox and the fan base, it's the New York Knicks. We are pretty much the Xbox fan base of the NBA in almost every way possible. In almost every way possible. Oh my God, the organization. We need to fire the owner. All that shit. Yo, it's bad. What's up, chat? Yo, what's going on? I'm trying to kill some time to see if the other... we got Jay Breezy. This is definitely who I wanted to come up in here. My brother, yo, Jay Barry. My brother.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yo, oh yeah.
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, you out there. You got the HD camera. When I tuned in, I was like, ooh. Him and Persona showing their face. I'm like, did they upgrade? They leveled up.
Stepping up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to that, to your podcast last week. Listen, chat. If you did not see, you crazy. If you did not see last week's What's Up PlayStation, you need to do yourself this. If you don't see it, then you're not a PlayStation. You might as well. What is it? Today's Tuesday. Go listen to RDX or something. I think they're on, or they start whatever. just go there. Just go there, man. Because what are you doing here, man? Yo, Barry, that shit was lit. It was fantastic. And I
appreciate it, man.
And I say it again, best PlayStation podcast on YouTube. Period.
Yo, do I sound clear?
Oh, you sound
great. Oh, you sound great. You sound great.
Okay.
Crystal.
Yo, can I just take 2 seconds to also thank Jay Barry for that interview? You and Persona did an amazing job. Just wanted to say thank you. It's so good to see just members of the community, especially Black members of the community, land such a big interview. And you guys are doing us proud. Thank you.
Yo, these dudes landed the biggest. They still got, they got Sean Layton, which to me, I don't care what YouTube podcasts out there. I don't think anyone landed a bigger interview. Not even like the million subscriber YouTube channels. I don't think, that's true. To this day, I have not seen a YouTuber land such a big interview.
Mm-hmm. And somehow the Daniel Busetti one was even better, which I don't even... Man. I can't even imagine.
Yo, what's next, bro? What's next on their list? What more can we get, bro? Can you get Jim Ryan, bro? I'm telling you, that's the Super Bowl. That's the brass ring of interviews, bro.
That's the goal.
That is the brass ring of interviews. If you land Jim Ryan, oh my God, you just what would you do? What can you do after? You would have to retire. There's
actually, yeah, you have to quit. You have to quit. You have to quit after that.
What can you do?
That's definitely one of the goals me and Persona trying to, get to. Jim Ryan, get Herman Hulst as well, and Shuhei, trying to get them on the show. But appreciate everyone that shows support to What's Up PlayStation, man. Like, for real, me and Persona, we do appreciate you guys. A lot of you guys showed up in the chat. You guys was mad respectful as well in the chat. That's, you know what I mean? So mad respect to you guys in the community, man, that showed the support.
Hey, we in the community appreciate you, bro. You bring in great PlayStation content in a way nobody else is doing, man. We truly love it, man. Like I said, man, best PlayStation podcast. I think you guys are just gonna blow the fuck up. But you know how YouTube is. Algorithms is just weird shit, but trust me, man. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Yo, by the time you know it, you guys will be a million subscriber channel, bro.
Yo, the greatness. I mean,
it's a long journey. So it is what it is.
It's a long journey, but you on the right path, bro. Man, this shit is awesome. Your channel, your content is.
How do you even do that? Listen, that's my question.
Your content is like a AAA PlayStation exclusive. It's superb. It is super beautiful, bro. But like PlayStation, but listen, like PlayStation, it took a couple of generations to get to this point. Because PlayStation then it came out with the PS1 with first AAA. They were building, they were getting their grinds. They got their Crash Bandicoot, they got their Jack and Daxter, and then all of a sudden, they got their Last of Us. And then it just went into just supreme. You know what I'm saying? So that's, you guys remind me of PlayStation. You starting out, you're getting your little hits, and then one day, boom, Uncharted 2. And then at that point, you set the standard. So we're just waiting for your Uncharted 2 moment. You know what I'm saying?
Tripping.
You're gonna get your Uncharted 2 moment, and then at that point, you know what I'm saying, you'll be the creme de la creme of podcasting, bro.
Appreciate it though, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, they say, shout out to Kratos. He's saying, Kratos99, thank you for the super chat, saying, Barry, you gotta interview Phil Spencer and Matt Booty.
Phil definitely gonna come on through to congratulate us on PlayStation great games in 2023, man.
Excited for the things he won't show.
Oh shit, here we go. Oh
yeah,
man. Oh man, here we go. There you go. Oh, we also got Project Cloud.
Hey, how's it going? I know it's been a minute.
Definitely, man. I know you've been working, you've been busy, you've been doing your things. I'm glad you're here because we need to talk about this whole Callisto Protocol stuff right here. We definitely gonna talk about that.
I did hear about that. I sure did.
So I would love your insight and your opinion. And then of course we got Extreme up in here.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you were able to show up. Thank you so much for rocking by. So, hey, chat, thank you so much for coming through. Fellas, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for showing up. I enjoy and love having conversations of gaming with you guys. And to the chat, to the members to show up. We already had 130, and we barely done anything. Thank you so much. I hope you'll find the show entertaining. Hit the like button. Retweet this out, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, sticking around. We're about to kick it off. We're gonna start off, and I would like Project Cloud to lead with this, right? For a particular reason. Let's talk Callisto Protocol. Apparently, the expectation was 5 million copies sold. I would imagine in a month. Failed to meet expectations. Rumor has it only sold 2 million, so it's 3 million off the target that was expected. So I'm gonna start with Project Cloud because I know Project Cloud, you were pretty hyped, and I'm not trying to dismiss your hype because no matter what, if you enjoyed the game, you enjoyed the game. But I want your opinion based on, the looks, the conversations people had. Do you think that 5 million target it was a bad prediction or a bad expectation, or do you feel that yes, this game should have sold 5 million? But yada yada yada. These are the issues that prevented it. How do you feel about the whole scenario, project?
Sure. So I think just to make a small correction. So my understanding, and again, I'm willing to hear otherwise if somebody has the documentation, but when I was reading the 2 million number, that was the number that they were expecting or now projecting that they'll make within 2023. So basically, that should mean by the end of the year they expect to sell 2 million units.
Okay. Oh, so they didn't even sell 2 million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought they sold 2 million and expected 5 though. So they didn't even sell 2 million yet.
Yeah. The only thing I could maybe see is that perhaps they were referring to a fiscal year as opposed to the calendar year, which sometimes, unfortunately, in conference calls, with those financial releases can get a little complicated. Sometimes it's not always clear as to what figure is meant. But regardless, even if they sold 2 million now, not so good, because the game costs easily over $100 million. In fact, it might have been
160. I think somebody
kind
of like pseudo math. Somebody said 160.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you, because they're coming up with the DLC and maybe a small little expansion that's going to come along with the season pass. It's at least going to have new death animations or something like that. But I think they also said some new content and kind of a smaller mission or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they're supporting the game, but I feel like the audience, the real audience for this game is whoever's going to buy the Dead Space remake. Like, if that Dead Space remake, if that sells a bunch, that sells 5 million units or more, and Dead Space only sold 2, then it kind of goes to show you that, hey, unfortunately, they missed their opportunity. Now, that being said, I haven't played the game yet, even though I purchased it. So
you still haven't played it? You've been that busy?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, at least when you start playing it, you'll download 5 gigs worth of patches.
Yep. Yeah, so I'll give myself the best experience you can basically get with the game. I'm thinking for myself it's probably going to be a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 game. But it's when I looked at those previews when the game was being marketed, and lots of other publications picked up on it, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. This looks like what you would expect and more. It's just that, I don't know, maybe some outlets just don't really like the more linearity, or just there's not nearly as much variety of things to do or something.
So from what I'm getting, I seen some gameplay, I seen what the reviewers made their comments on. I seen what the community, and what I mean by community, the guys I trust, kind of, they have a level-headed approach to how, they enjoy games, so I kind of trust them at that point. And then what I see for myself, and there was a lot of bad design choices. One, from what I hear, excessive amount of crawling, of kind of transition from area to area. A lot of people complained about that. They felt it's too much, so they felt that the map design was unoptimized. 2, they weren't expecting, and correct me if I'm wrong, J Bar, if anybody, a melee heavy game, and that's fine. But some people felt the camera angle didn't maximize that type of combat. Like the camera angles and how they designed the game got in the way, because the rooms are very confined. So you get these awkward... when you, in a game, you walk too close to a wall, the camera angle starts acting all weird because you're too close to the wall. Well, by design, you've seen that a lot. And because of that, fighting, melee, trying to hand-to-hand combat or, whatever you got to do to survive, it puts you at a disadvantage, not because that's the intention of the game design, it's just because the camera angles suck. So I can understand that was frustrating. And given that could potentially be a lot of the game, a lot of people could find that not enjoyable, where the combat it's not that it's hard, or even if it was hard, it's just poorly designed based on, the camera angle, how close it is. And it's just, for some people, some people even kind of said that it was a claustrophobic feel, but not in the sense to bring dread in the game, but just the camera is too close. And given where you walk, it just gets awkward. And then after a while, a lot of people found that very annoying with the game. And then also the bugs, I think we talked about this a couple of times, man. First impressions, everything, right? I don't understand at this point. If you want a game review, no matter how you feel about reviewers, we know they have an impact. we even know that many reviewers don't even play the whole game. I think at that point, we all know. But at the end of the day, things like Metacritic, and Metacritic's not a review site itself, it just aggregates. But the aggregation of all these reviews does have an impact. And I hope one day, for gaming's sake, we go away with that. But we have to accept the reality now that reviewers do have a level of impact. It does impact, the success of games to a certain extent, right? Some games are immune. You got the Maddens, the FIFAs, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead. Certain games is completely immune, right? Call of Duty, I don't even see why they even bother reviewing the game. Nothing's going to change, right? So certain games are immune from reviews, but a majority of the games, review does have an impact, whether we agree with it or not. And I think developers and publishers need to understand that. They need to understand is, hey, if we release this game as is, what do we get who's going to review, right? What, and why? Oh, because of bugs, then we can't release the game with bugs. They can't go with this mentality of, we'll release the game now, but don't worry, we'll fix in 2 to 3 days. Like, no, because you're asking the people to buy it now. You're not asking the people to buy it now and then fix later. Not a very good strategy, Jay Barry, did you play Callisto Protocol?
Can I say something too?
Go ahead.
Before I forget. I mean, considering the whole Cyberpunk 2077 situation where that game was really hyped, before it came out, and then reviewers got their hands on it, and except for maybe the PC version, that game was just a train wreck, from a bug perspective.
Yeah.
And then to see, think of how much more important it is for, a first-time studio, meaning a newly created studio, and they release a product that there's a lot of hype for, and then they fail because of the bugs. Yes. Now, granted, the PS5 was pretty okay even from day one, from my understanding. But the Series X and PC versions had problems, and then you had the whole ray tracing not working on those platforms, or at least on the Xbox. That's just, and it's a single player game, so it's not like there's network code that it's hard to figure out or something. Yeah. It's just in its Unreal Engine, which is a very developer friendly engine. It's like, what went wrong? You know what I mean? They should have delayed the game another quarter.
Yes. I'm surprised that a new studio out the gate got that much money to create a new IP. I mean, hell, they're seasoned veterans that have trouble. Yep. Am I right, Barry? They're seasoned veterans.
They are.
That try to argue for that money. So the fact that this new... And then here's another thing, the genre. And Barry, I think, Barry, you could definitely help me out with this one. Like, do horror games of this type actually sell 5 million within a month? Because I don't think even Resident Evil could pull that off. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not too sure. Maybe a game like Resident Evil, especially now with the popularity
maybe 4.
Resident Evil has.
Maybe Resident Evil 4 probably could. Yeah,
because I know a lot of people are excited for that. But for me personally, I liked Callisto Protocol. I gave it about a 7 by the time that I played it, platinumed it. I just felt like the game was a little bit, certain issues had some bugs. Nothing really game breaking for me personally.
Yeah.
There was no chapter select in the game as well. So say you're doing any type of collectible stuff, you're going to have to start all the way back and, do the whole game over again.
Yeah.
There's no really
not trophy
new
friendly.
Game plus.
Yeah, not a trophy hunter friendly game.
Yeah, and another thing is the weapons itself didn't really feel that good. The melee felt good, but the dodge mechanic was kind of wonky in my personal opinion. They could have did a way better job when it comes to the dodge mechanics and things like that. Where I didn't personally like it. Overall, I felt like the game was pretty good. You're looking for a nice, scary. It's not too scary game, but nice, scary, pacing. The pace was pretty well in the game. Great looking game. For them having a goal of what, like you said, 5 million or something like that.
5 million, I think, in a month was their goal.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm kind of shocked that they went that high, but the production value and everything that put into that game, You know what I mean? Probably had it for that high. I didn't know it was going to do no month, especially the month that it came out in December.
Yeah, which
kind of weird.
Believe it or not, December's really not a good month for sales.
Yeah, because everybody already spend their money, and now it's just like, all right, we're going to enjoy the gifts and the stuff that we spent the money that we got. It's not really like a heavy spending month.
Yeah,
everything before that is heavy, but it came out in a bad time.
Yeah, most times, if your game can't come out by November, then delay it to January, February, where people kind of recover, and then now they're starting off the new year and they're looking for the new thing. But December, listen, man, we broke. Everybody's broke by that point. Like, what more do you want from us? We have buy gifts. People are planning trips. It's like, man, we ain't got no more to give. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shout out to
the thing is. Oh, my bad.
No, shout out to Bird. Welcome to the 60 frames no lag family. Hey, I'm glad. I'm happy that you found me worthy enough for you to join. Hey, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just stay tuned to see this channel grow, and J Bar is gonna keep me in check. You understand what I'm saying? So I got, I got quality control, from the #1 PlayStation podcast. But hey, thank you so much. All right, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Man, what was I gonna say?
This week. Definitely December bad month. Maybe. What's up?
Yeah, December's a bad month, but this is what I was gonna say. A lot of people is down playing like Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure when that game gets cheaper or it comes into a service, maybe PS Plus or Game Pass, watch the praises come to that game. I promise you, yo, because the game is not bad at all. And I know the game got fixed. I haven't went back to go look at that, but I saw the updates and I was I need that space for a little bit. I had to delete that game, but because I platinumed it already.
Okay.
But
ooh,
yeah,
you don't play
I feel like, yeah, like I said, I enjoy the game. You know what I mean? And a lot of from what I'm seeing from a lot of people that played it, they had the same issues that I had with it. But overall, everybody's finishing the game. It's not like they're saying this is a horrible game. There's a lot of potential there. I would love to see the developers continue with the next game. Hopefully they meet their goal because it was a lot of production value that's put into it. It's a beautiful looking game, probably one of the best looking games to date out right now. And but yeah, they fixed a lot of the animation issues, sped the game up a little bit. That was another issue. Mm-hmm. Everything was so slow. You wanted to heal up in an intense moment. Good luck. Oh, and the lack of boss variety was a big issue as well. They had like this twin head boss, and you're fighting that boss probably like 3 times in the game. You know what I mean? And then the last boss, which was like the big boss, but it felt like the Order 1886 type of ordeal when it came to a lot of the boss fights, where it was like it's the same boss, no variety.
Yeah.
With this game, it felt like that a little bit.
All right. Hey, shout out to here we go, Bazooka Long Dong. Tell you, bro. This channel's gonna get shut down.
Hey, yo, what? Like, y'all got the weirdest name.
Yo, this, you know what I'm saying? Only on my channel, bro. Nobody else goes through this. I was a hater with Vampire Survivor, but game is fire. At least they keep it gaming though. Name aside, they keep it gaming. You know what I'm saying? My man said pause. And a level 1 gamer. We don't want to hear none of that Dallas Cowboys trash on this channel. Alright? Listen, respect the cap. Alright? We not trying to hear of them trashy ass Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with the 49ers.
Nah, yo. The Order 1886, I love that game too, but you can be real. Like the boss variety of that game was one of the weakest points of that game.
For me, I call Order 1886 our version of Rise. Graphically beautiful game. The premise is great. A great premise.
Yeah, the world.
Yeah, the world. The idea of the Order, vampire werewolves. Great premise. But the game itself, playing it, 4 hours. Ugh. They could have done so much more.
I wanted more to Order. I felt like it was too short.
Yes, it was short. I think the gunplay could have been better. To me, there was only really 2 useful guns. Some guns were pointless. Yeah, they could have designed a bigger, longer game. I think it was a concept. In my opinion, it was a concept too early. That shit should have been something like 2018, 2019. as Sony really started fleshing out single player story narrative driven games. I think who was it? It was Red what's that? It starts with an R. The people who developed it.
Destruction All-Stars?
No. What's it called?
No, Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn. I think Ready at Dawn would have learned what, between God of War, between Uncharted 4, they probably would have had better ideas of better storytelling. I think if that game wouldn't have launched early in the gen and later in the gen, after seeing Ghost of Tsushima and all that, I think they would have done a better job. A longer game, better fleshed out. To me, it's one of those games that came out too early. It is what it is. And plus, Ready at Dawn, they fall under, somebody bought them out, right?
Facebook.
That's it. Yeah.
Was it Facebook or Amazon? One of them.
Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Facebook. Jesus.
We lost them. They're gone forever.
That's it. They're done. They're gone.
Sony should have gobbled them up, man. They would have been the perfect fit.
Okay. Yeah. Extreme. Did you play Callisto Protocol? Did you get a chance to play?
No. Listen, I told you, I don't play horror games. They're trash. Right. All of them. I feel the same way about how you feel about racing games, about horror games. So yeah. But I have commentary on it because I have seen broken games play them. And for me, the thing about the game is that once you play the first 2 or 3 hours, that's pretty much all there is to it. It doesn't really expand on its systems in meaningfully enjoyable ways. Like, you get more weapons, but the weapons feel weak. They don't really change the gameplay all that much. So while I can't talk about the experience of playing the game, since I haven't played it, just looking at the systems and the way they stack on top of each other, it's almost like the combat designers were like 3 different people. So there's like a melee combat designer, then there was like the person that took care of the weapons, and then there was like a person that was supposed to come and like make it all gel together so that you could like do a satisfying weapon, then melee and back and forth. And it's like that person just didn't show up that day. So yeah, it feels disjointed.
You say you didn't play the game?
No, I didn't. But I just observed how people were playing, and when people shot, like, you know how they have that mechanic where you can shoot someone.
Like, nah.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yo, listening to your opinion, I felt like you played the game, but you's going in.
No, like I actually like thought deeply about what it is that made it unappealing to me, because when I saw that it's not much of a horror game. It's really just like a zombie fest kind of shooting kind of thing. Like, there isn't a lot of horror element to it, which I think for people...
There's a lot of horror element. Like, I get that you're probably deterred or you didn't get turned on to play the game. It's not your cup of tea. But the elements of horror is there in that game. It's a very, like, for me, I know. But
it's not like a scary game. It's not like a Resident Evil. Like, I can't even watch Resident Evil because I'm just like, nah, this is not. I'm not doing this.
Dead Space? Did you play Dead Space?
No, I never looked. But again, Dead Space, I feel like is more horror. So I'm like, nah, I don't even want to touch it. Like, I don't even want to read about it, because for me, horror is just like a complete turn off. So this one, I was watching like the first hour. I'm like, let me see what this is about, because it's a beautiful looking game and everything. And then I'm like, oh, it's actually not that scary. Like, for me, it was less scary than The Last of Us. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I could get into this. So let me see how the gameplay is. And then when I look at the gameplay system, I'm like, oh, actually, no, because now I don't really, like, there's not enough there to actually draw me in. So even if it came to PlayStation Plus, I wouldn't, play it.
Nah, but these are the people that created Dead Space. Yeah. The same developers that created Dead Space.
I understand that. I get that.
And that's what's crazy. Like, because they have experience with this. Like, Project Cloud did mention, like, what happened? Like, what happened where it's just a little bit off? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jay Barry? Because these are the original guys.
What you said?
Like, what was it that was off?
Oh, the thing is, when it comes to Callisto Protocol, I feel like they wanted to branch out from the Dead Space series, but they didn't really branch out from the Dead Space series. Like, there was nothing really unique to separate Callisto Protocol from Dead Space. You pretty much are doing the same type of mechanics as far as like, limbs and shooting, enemies to slow them, shooting their legs off, shooting their hands off so they won't, hit you in certain ways. They still had to stomp like Dead Space. But I didn't feel like it could have offered more oomph to the gameplay when it comes to the weaponry. I feel like the weaponry wasn't that like monumental in the game. Like I said, the melee, I liked the melee. It felt good. It felt really tactile. The dodge system, I didn't really like the dodge system. It was kind of wonky, but that again, they did so they addressed like the dodging and the animations and things like that, and the kill animations and all that stuff. They addressed that stuff to speed the game up and fix a lot of that stuff. So, I haven't played the game in like a couple of weeks, but from what I'm hearing, they did fix it up. But yeah, like I said, I feel like if people play it, you have a good experience with it. Do you want to go in there with $60 or $70 or whatever it is with a season pass? I don't know. But I feel like regardless of when you play the game, I feel like you're gonna have a good time with it. To be honest with you, it's not a horrible game.
The things you say like just confirm what I was thinking. So I'm not trying to speak out of turn. I see the chat that like you didn't play the game, don't speak out about it at all. But I'm like, well, everything J-Bow is saying is pretty much my impression of the game. So there it is.
Oh shit.
So Jay, I have a question for you. So yeah, so you're somebody who liked Order 1886, right?
Oh yeah, I love the Order 86.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. We're on the same page. So, like, I did remember one of the developers. It was, I think, the CTO of Ready at Dawn. It probably still is the CTO. I think he was like commenting on the reviews for the game at one point, and he said, in his opinion, the accurate review score for that game was an 8 out of 10. Which I think that I agree with that as far as an overall, when I consider the assessment as well as like the kind of effort the developer put into it. I know you were saying Callisto for you was like a 7 out of 10, but maybe as someone who thinks, for probably myself, the Order is a 9 out of 10. Like, what do you think are my chances of thinking Callisto is gonna like meet that or higher?
Bro, if you give,
I feel like
if you give Order a 9 out of 10, oh shit.
Yeah. I feel like the Order was a much more polished game than Callisto Protocol. Like graphically, those are two like great looking games. But Callisto, from when I played it, it was not in the best shape. Like it was definitely a little buggy. The animations are super slow. The Order right from the rip was just a great game that you could play from beginning to the end without no issues. From what I played that game like about 4 times. That game like 4 times. You know what I mean? I never had no issues playing it. But Callisto, I beat that game 2 times. Was in my both playthroughs. You know what I mean? It was some issues. You know what I mean? Here and there. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Order was just a well polished game.
The animations are slow. Like, is that because the frames are dropping, or is that just?
No, it's just everything. You know how like Red Dead Redemption, everything is kind of just like slow by purpose.
I actually loved that, even though apparently they corrected some of that stuff on the PC version like way later. But I kind of don't get why it took them, a year or so later, a year and a half or whatever it was from the console version to the PC version to get to that state. Because I literally thought the developer like intended it to be as it is, and I really enjoyed it as it is, and I'm not arguing for them to change it, although if they do change it for a third game or something, go for it. But if basically a lot of the things that gamers are finding to be problematic are not necessarily going to be an issue for me, I mean, do you think this is like, well, as long as you like just shooting in general and melee combat, like it's maybe a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10?
No, I think you're going to enjoy the game. I think the game is a good game. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily have like major issues with the game outside of a few things where I felt like it could have been much more polished. It was a great looking game. Acting is phenomenal. Melee, the gunplay, it depends if you like it or not. You know what I mean? It's up to you. But I just felt like I could have got a little bit better treatment. Like,
yeah,
you're not really shooting. you're not really shooting like well, you can, but it's not as powerful as something like Resident Evil. You know what I mean? Where you can go down with the Magnum and shoot. Shooting is a very specific timing where you can do a shoot like on a weak point from an enemy or whatnot after like a melee hit or whatever. That's where the shooting comes strong. But shooting us regularly, it might not be the best because it doesn't really feel that good, in my personal opinion. But you might like it.
Okay. Good to know, man.
I mean, you already bought it, so
yeah,
might as well give it a try.
Oh, I definitely will. It's just it's on the backlog, you know.
All right, shout out.
I wanted to support the developer while I could. That's all.
Yeah, you definitely, man. They're gonna need some EBT after that failure.
Yep.
The Colon Man. You seen that screenshot of Suicide Squad? Hype at 5. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. We are definitely gonna talk about it. Gamer Boy 83. He said for excuse me. Oh, then this thing just jumped. Hold on, I got you, Gamer Boy. He said, P-Rock, repeat after me. Losers, losers. There you go, brother, man. Got you covered, man. Thank you for the super chat. That's my brother.
Duly noted.
That duly noted. All right, so let's move on to the next side. Unless anybody has anything more to say, let me ask you something. Let me ask this final question. Do you think this developer has a chance for another AAA, or is something going to happen? Like, they're gonna rethink of supporting the studio. B, they're gonna have to move to a completely new project and a new direction, maybe go gas. Or C, they're gonna stay the course and try to bank on the sequel performing better. We'll start with Jay Barry, since you're the most knowledgeable. What do you think is the way forward for the studio?
I think they're going to get another chance at the game. We're going to see how the game turns out performance-wise in 2023. Okay. Like I said, more people get their hands in it. I think a lot of people will enjoy it because they did capture the atmosphere that they wanted to, capture. And it's not like I said, it's not a bad game at all. But hopefully they get another try at it. I enjoyed it, and we'll see what we can go from there. You said
there's upcoming DLC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they had like a season pass, so it's going to be much more. The ending, it definitely is going to lead up to like a sequel. So
do you think this DLC is critical? Like this DLC really needs to get people to be like, oh wow, because sometimes the DLC could also fix the game, kind of like what CD Projekt Red did with their DLC. Kind of fixed the game and gave people some hype. You think? You think they have to do something like that?
The thing is, I don't see nobody really complaining about the game story-wise. Okay, you know what I mean, and that's what the DLC is going to push, right? So, yeah, I think people will be fine with the game. Okay, with the DLC.
All right. Project, what do you think from the way things sound? You think the studio has a chance at a second chance, or do you think there's potential where the publisher is going to be like, hey, we got to go a different direction?
It's a great question. So it's Krafton as a publisher, and they specifically formed and own Striking Distance Studios, and the whole original purpose was so that they can create the Callisto Protocol. Mm-hmm. So, and again, that originally it was going to be part of the PUBG, universe, and then eventually they separated off from that and said nope, it's just a completely new IP with no real tie into PUBG. So I have to think, because this is Krafton's first, AAA or quadruple A storytelling, narrative-driven studio, that, well, for one, the studio is safe. It's not like I don't think there's really going to be layoffs other than potentially, the production cycle related layoffs, as in there's not a need for a QA team right now. So those are probably already contractors anyway. The studio will remain. The studio will make a AAA or quadruple A title for their next game. It's 50-50 whether or not it's going to be Callisto Protocol 2. I'm hoping it will be, and I think Krafton may be willing to give another chance at this. But it'll be interesting to see if they require a budget cut or not, if they do go forward with that. But then again, because they have already invested so much creative and technological resources into the first game, there may not be as much of a need for a sequel to cost as much because they have a lot of the base assets, ready to go, and now it's just kind of improving what you have and then, adding what makes sense. So this could very well be kind of like Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2, where, the first, granted, Uncharted 1 was a really, really good game when it came out. Maybe a 7 out of 10 at worst, and maybe a 9 out of 10 at best, but probably overall about an 8 out of 10. I could see a Callisto Protocol 2 being like a huge leap forward in terms of perception and critical review and how the community receives it. So hopefully that can be the case, but if Krafton doesn't want to go forward with a sequel, I think it's going to be another new IP.
Okay. You think there's potential they might be forced to do like MTX or something like that?
Well, I mean, I doubt it. Just because it's a single-player game and it's not already part of the experience, and they already have their season pass, so I mean, that's your extra monetization, really. So, unless they add a multiplayer component, which I don't see that happening,
that's a whole
I don't see any need for us making this game an Assassin's Creed or something.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, Extreme, any comments, thoughts? You think the studio's gonna keep chugging in the direction they plan to, or do you think something might change?
Look, I will hope that they make a second one. I will hope that this will be like Assassin's Creed 2 for them, because I find a lot of parallels in there. I think Assassin's Creed 1 was like a lot of the similar gameplay just being repeated, but like the premise of it was really, really good. And then Assassin's Creed 2 just took that and made it so much better. So I would hope the same. Narratively speaking, they left it open-ended so that they could, change settings, they could go to a different planet, they could do different space stations. They have a lot of options there. And then I feel like there's enough of the puzzle there that they just need to just bring it together in a better package. And then I think it could blow up, yeah. And it will never really be my cup of tea, because horror, especially if they make it more horror than this one was. So I'm definitely not in there. But I definitely think it was a great package to present. And it's a first attempt. I think people have to also kind of give them, a little bit of a break. Yes, they are veterans of another game, but that's a different studio, another reality that was years and years ago. And expectations are different now. So, yeah, they should get another shot. And I would hope that they do a sequel, because why throw out, the baby with the bathwater? So.
Okay. All right.
I should mention this, too. Because I know that they've talked about and announced things that talk about this being like a multimedia effort, so it's not just a game franchise, it's expanding into other mediums like comics, books, maybe a TV show or movies. So if the intention is still to move forward with all of that stuff, kind of tough to then not support it with another sequel, game-wise. So depending on how much they've kind of banked on and investing in the franchise overall, I think is going to determine, the willingness to go forward with a sequel, in the hopes that it will correct the wrongs of the first release, at least the game how it was initially received when it was put up for review. And of course, overall, just any general criticisms, just eliminating that and actually making it, at least as good as Dead Space, and if not, a true Game of the Year contender when it comes out in whatever year it does.
Okay. All right, good.
Because that's really what they were aiming to do, and they just didn't accomplish that by a long shot.
Well, it's their first game studio. Even though you had some seasoned veterans, the support staff, they have to gel together, right? I mean, how often does a studio newly form and they come out with a breakout hit? It's not often, man. Sometimes you have to nurture talent and stuff. I mean, it really comes down to the resiliency of the publisher,
They got PUBG. I think they're pretty resilient.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Posts BF. You guys pre-ordered Forspoken already? Can't wait. So, yeah, let's answer that question real quick. Extreme. Are you looking forward to Forspoken, or is it a pass? Wait and see?
Definitely looking forward to it. It has the best theme music. Like when you are on the PS5 home screen, that theme music Best scenes on Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that matters to me. Music matters to me. So yes, looking forward to it. And also, I don't care if it's a mediocre game. Black people should have mediocre games too. So I'm just like, yeah, definitely gonna support it. I don't care. I just love it. I love the concept of it. I love everything about it. I played the demo. I see the flaws and everything else, but you know what? Like, yeah, we don't always have to just be excellent. Okay. I would love to play a mediocre game with a black lead, and she's awesome. And if it turns out to be an excellent game, even better. So I'm holding out hopes for it.
All right. How about you, Project? Any thoughts on Forspoken? Did it catch your eye, or is it just something skip?
I mean, I was excited for this game when the studio for it was sort of first announced, and they said it was going to be a next-gen new IP. And then they announced the game, and I'm like, that doesn't look nearly as good as I was hoping.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking about graphically.
Yeah.
And then the gameplay-wise, I mean, I think it's definitely gotten better and better showings as the marketing has come along. But I'll be honest with you, like, sorry, the whole... It's like Final Fantasy, but sort of in this more modern way, somehow, you know, with a modern tone. Like I don't know, kind of R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy vibe is somehow what I get with this girl, but in a bad way, as opposed to Guardians being in a good way with I Am Groot and all that. So,
well, what does that even mean?
Like you're talking about the conversation, the writing.
Like the girls, I don't know, like too quirky for me, like for what I want to play.
You're such a hater.
Personality-wise. So, like, it's a pass for me. But, you know, hey, if it's successful, if it can, you know, make a name for itself. And, you know, ironically, this might end up being a pretty good game.
That's the thing. People don't even give it, like, its fair chance. Like, they're just like, oh, no, she talks too much. She's too New York. And I'm like, well, so what? Like, so we've had so many weird, goofy characters that we get to enjoy eventually.
Right. We need some attitude in gaming. Don't
exactly.
Don't we need Jay Barry? We need some people from the Bronx representing.
Damn right.
Sir.
Well, like, from a variety perspective, like, sure, great, you know, Forspoken exists, but personally, nah, character doesn't really appeal to me, and I'm not sure the gameplay really does either.
I'm just saying, people play as the goofiest characters. Like, half of the cast of Persona 5 is like super weird and super Japanese, but people are like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. But then you put a black woman in front of them, it's like, oh no, she's too this, she's too that. Like, piss off.
Oh shit.
Well, I reject both, so...
he keeps it consistent. He's like, well, they suck too.
Yep.
So he's like, they suck too. I guess you just don't like that type of personality, period. All right. Hey, so
it's just...
All right.
I don't know. It either clicks with me or it doesn't, you know?
All right. Jay Barry, I know you down with this.
Sir, listen, man. I got 100 clips. I'm from New York. You know the vibes, man. We out here, B. Listen, man, I'm a huge isekai fan. I love the movies. I love anime. Love shows. When it comes to isekai, and the fact that you have this New York, woman.
Hey, can you explain for those of us that don't know what the hell you talking about? Explain isekai.
Yeah, so pretty much an isekai is like a story plot where one person is taken from a certain world into another world. So, I could be from New York, but somehow I get, teleported or transported to like Camelot or some weird world. You know what I mean? Pretty much taking you from your own world. Yeah, your own world into another world. If you guys seen like Black Knight with Martin Lawrence, or Chronicles of Narnia. You know what I mean? That's typically what isekai is. But
my man,
and
my man Jay Barry,
I love.
He got transported to Lord of the Rings. He's like, "Hey, yo, dead ass Sauron. This gold is making my skin green."
I would love that. I would love that. Bro.
He's like, "This is fake gold. Why my skin green? Yo, Sauron. Yo, he gave me the cheap shit." He'd be like, Jay Barry be like, "Hey, yo, Sauron, dead ass. I want my money back. This shit is fake."
Dude, Porn Rock, you just like gave me the idea for how I can explain this. It's like I feel like that girl is breaking the fourth wall, and I don't want that.
Well, she's talking to the audience.
Breaking the fourth wall?
Like talking to the audience.
No, she's not Deadpool.
Yeah, I know.
Or She-Hulk.
That's just what it reminds me.
Oh, so you don't like the fact that she clashes with the environment, like a totally different personality in the environment.
Girl, and it just doesn't.
We lost you for a bit there.
Yeah, we lost you.
We lost one of those early trailers, and she's just like, "Yeah, this effing dragon." I'm like,
it's kind of like.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. If you saw a fucking dragon, wouldn't you say like, "Hey, that's a fucking dragon"? Like, I'm just saying.
Because she's not from this world, and yeah, she it's supposed to be it's purposely to be made as a contrast to the world. You know what I mean? She's in the city.
Like, I get that.
That's how.
I just rejected it. Is all.
What do you mean you rejected
that? That's perfectly fine. But for me personally, I'm in there day one. It's already pre-ordered.
Yeah,
Ultimate.
It's like imagine if DMX was in The Witcher. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He's like, get at me, dog. You know, it's like DMX with The Witcher.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, like you from where we played in the demo, she's adapting to the world and she's getting used to some of her powers. I don't know where in the demo where as far as like story wise we're at in the demo, but from what I could sense, some of the powers she actually enjoy. The other one, like the flame one, she doesn't really enjoy that because that could hurt her and all that stuff. But I like it, man. I like the different contrast, the dynamic between the cuff and her. They don't mix, they don't gel well as of right now. But hopefully, the character development between those characters and the dialogue, they come together as one, you know what I mean, or get better. Harmonious type of synergy. But I'm with it. I like the gameplay as well because the gameplay is not like a melee type game. It's like you're the avatar. You know what I mean? Like you finally got a game where we could be the freaking avatar from Nickelodeon. Where we can harness all the elements and use them against enemies in the world. And I enjoyed it. And the fact that the developers are listening to the community is also a beautiful thing because they have been updating the game. They have updated the demo so people can get a better look at the game when it comes to the HDR, the graphics, when it comes to the texting, when it comes to button mapping. They have fixed a lot and addressed a lot that the community themselves was asking for. That's always a great sign when you see developers doing that, especially for like a demo. You know what I mean? They don't have to do that for a demo.
Yeah. That's pretty
I mean, I will say that the one part that bothered me was the actual interaction with the cuff during combat. It just wasn't that useful and wasn't that interesting because we've had similar examples. God of War, you've got Mimir, and he talks to you during combat, but he's actually useful. A lot of the commentary during the combat was just like annoying, and I had to turn it down. You can turn down the frequency. I didn't turn it down to the minimal level, which is basically only talking during narrative moments, but I turned it down to like minimal interaction during combat so that he will only speak once in a while. And then that was enjoyable because he let me know enough of where their relationship dynamic was. But the default setting was definitely far too chatty. So that will say that is a criticism of the game.
Okay, here goes Post BF stated, thank you for the super chat. Sony should buy them and give them the knowledge to create greatness. I think he's assuming the studio that created Callisto Protocol.
That's Illuminous Productions, which is owned by Square Enix.
No, he's talking about the other game, I think.
No,
Callisto.
For Callisto Protocol.
Oh, Striking Distance?
Yeah.
I mean, I would... If Craftdown doesn't want them anymore, please sell them to Sony. Yes. Please.
Probably see some benefits to that. True Virgil says, PS5 liquid metal leaks and hisses like Jay Barry's lisp. What? What are we doing here? Hey... No disrespect to the panel, True Virgil, man. But shout out, he's.
Hey, do my list sound clearer? I'm on a new mic right now, so let me know.
Oh no, that's what's up. Crystal.
It's sizzling. Right? It's crispy.
And then we got SaneU.com says same as Horizon Zero Dawn. Forspoken needs to fix the lighting. Huh.
Yeah, the lighting in the beginning was bad.
No, just that. Go back to the demo now. A lot of this stuff have been addressed and fixed.
Interesting.
When it comes to the lighting, especially the HDR as well.
Yeah, the HDR
also,
was bad.
the Twitter profile page, they use one of my pictures. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm telling you, getting around, bro. All right, let's move on to the next topic. But before I go to the next topic, I need to ask the question: who here has not been able to see The Last of Us episode 1? Who here hasn't? Extreme, you saw it?
Of course.
Project, did you see episode 1?
No.
Oh, god damn it. All right, I know Jay Boris saw it. All right, so we can't do no spoilers, all right? So
I mean, can you spoil it when it's pretty much 1-for-1 with the game?
I mean, technically, you're right, but there's certain nuances that I found very interesting that I would like to talk about, but because Project didn't see it, I don't want to talk about it now.
Fair enough.
There's some nuances.
I do actually have to get going, so I guess you guys can if you want. But...
Okay. All right, because there's nuances, like, see the show, it's amazing, but there's, like, little nuances that I don't want you to hear it. I want you to see if you can see it for yourself for the first time. You know what I mean? Because I think
there's a particular explosion in the show that was amazing. You know
because I think one of the, if especially like this game, like this show, I'll say this: the show is catering to two groups. It's doing a phenomenal job of catering to the gamers, to the core gamers who played The Last of Us, but at the same time, it's catering to the audience also that never played the game. You know, I'm watching this show from both perspectives, and it's doing a phenomenal job of, you know what I mean? And it's rare.
You know who this show is for? It's for your wife. It's for your wife and my girlfriend.
Exactly.
Because they are the people that I've been begging, and I mean begging. I've been like, this is an amazing story. Don't care about the gameplay element. Just look at the story, and they're just like, no, the medium of video games is a barrier for them. So I sat down with my girlfriend, and I'm like, hey, we should try this show. And she's like, nah, I don't know, based on the video game and everything. 20 minutes in, you know, she's got all of the emotions. She's like pausing the show. She's like, I can't take it. How do you do this? And everything. It's so sad. It's so confronting. And I'm like, yeah, this is the story. This is video games. And it's like I don't know, it's like a line in a bottle for them, you know. So I'm so glad that this show exists for that reason.
Yeah, so it's rare show that it meant, like, you know, as the phrase goes, if you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody, right? But I think this show is actually pleasing everybody. It's pleasing the gamers because staying true to the source, right?
Yeah.
And expanding on it, but if a new completely audience watches it, it is catering to them because it's doing what it needs to do, right? So I'll start out with just a quick opinion. Number one, I'll be honest. Like, after I saw episode 1, I tried to be like, man, has there been a game adaptation, whether it's a movie or a TV show, that done it this good? And I'll be honest, I cannot think of one. I mean, I thought about so many game movies. I thought about Assassin's Creed, which was terrible. Resident Evil, depending which movie you're talking about, because there's like 30 of them. You know, not bad. I'm thinking, what else, man? Doom was terrible. Like, I think of so many game adaptations to movies and shows, and they're not that good. I mean, Tomb Raider is alright. Nothing I would write home about. Silent Hill, I think Silent Hill was decent. You know, I thought that was, you know, decent in capturing the game. I don't know. Like, Jay Barry, what are your thoughts?
As far as TV show adaptations, or just movie, or just in general?
Both movie or TV show. To the degree of The Last of Us. Because I'm telling you, I think this is really, really good. I'm thinking, like, yo, it almost feels like this was never a game, because it is good. The adaptation is like, it feels like it's like if it was a native movie to begin with, or a native TV. Like, it felt like it was supposed to be a TV show to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, somebody saying The Witcher in the chat, but I think The Witcher is mainly based off the books.
Yeah, so The Witcher's the book. So a lot of people are saying The Witcher is a book. So
have you seen Arcane? It's an animation.
Yeah, Arcane is definitely up there for me.
Arcane is up there.
Adaptation.
Which game?
Arcane.
Arcane?
From
off of League of Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an amazing show. The Sonic movies, I love the Sonic movies as well. Guilty pleasure one, and it's only one, not anyone else. The first Resident Evil, I thought it was pretty good until I started getting into the Resident Evil games. I'm like, it's not really a 1-to-1, but I felt like the first movie was okay. Everything else was trash though.
Yeah.
But as far as like production and pleasing both audiences, yeah, I definitely give it The Last of Us, especially the first episode. A really, it's up there. You know what I mean? Hopefully they can maintain that throughout the whole, season, which, looking at the previews, I think they will. Oh yeah, bro, it blew my expectations because I was going in there like, I'm not really feeling the cast and things like that. But yo, it was really, really good, yo.
Okay.
Really, 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 really good.
Oh, shout out to Jenna Hayes. She said the Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo. Oh my God. That was terrible.
Yeah, Arcane is not Arcane is not a 1-to-1 because this is a new story that they're telling. This is an origin story. You don't really get like an origin story from League. It's not a 1-to-1.
Okay. Oh man. So let's start out with like just how it started, man. I like how, and I think it was necessary how they gave Sarah a deeper dive into her, because the game was, how the game started. It was just pretty much she woke up and she's like, oh shit. So you didn't really get much sense about Sarah or whatever, or much personality, other than ultimately you knew you were playing Joe Miller's daughter, and then obviously the connection. But this one, the show made her such a, like, that actress, she's like, listen, you only giving me 30 minutes, I'm going to make the most out of my 30 minutes. I'm going to make she sold it. She's like, I'm going to make the most out of my 30 minutes. Yo, she sold that shit. Like, she played, like, her personality, her character, like, yo, she really sold it. Like, I was really impressed. It really fleshed out. It was incredible.
You're right, but I think we have to take a step back and actually start about how we started, which was with the whole interview, establishing this,
You're right. So,
wow, yeah, that was such a powerful moment for me, because I was like, this is how my girlfriend will get it. Like, that was like the sell to the audience that wasn't a fan of this thing already. And then Sarah. So
for people, hey, I'm gonna put there's potentially be spoilers. So I hope you guys. I'm just gonna say that because I hope you guys. So the beginning of the show, they talk about the fungus. Now, the way they explained it made me think of a couple of things. Right, number one, I felt that between The Last of Us and, you guys ever heard of a movie called 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
I always felt 28, like when I look at zombie movies, whatever, I always try to see which one is possibly the most realistic as possible that you can be. Like The Walking Dead, all that other shit, what I'm saying? While scary, whatever, I never seen those at least any close to reality, because like the zombies are like skeletons, right? Most of them are dead, skeletons. Bones don't move. Like, if the body doesn't have muscle, bones don't just simply walk on their own. They're just bones. Bones is just bones. It's the muscle and the joints and the ligaments that actually make the mouth move, bite, and all that. So when I see zombie movies like that, I'm thinking, whatever, it's just a horror movie, whatever. But when I saw 28 Days Later, and I think it was 28 Weeks Later, I'm like, that's a realistic approach to a zombie movie, right? People getting infected, they go rage, but they maintain this, muscle structure, and that's how they move. And what I liked about 28 Days Later, which was the sequel, they were dying. Because again, these are, these people were infected, so they don't know how to sustain their own life with food and water. So eventually your physical body's going to fizzle out, and you're just going to die. You're just not going to keep moving simply because you're moving magically. No, your muscles are going to decay. You're going to die of dehydration. They even mentioned in the movie 28 Weeks Later that over time, due to the lack of food, they just eventually died off. I'm like, that makes sense. That's a great logical explanation to it. I'm like, see, I like that. With The Last of Us, I love the explanation saying that with a fungus, and it's true, like if you read up on fungus, they take over, there's funguses that take over your mind. Like they explain, it took over insects. and now they pretty much corrupted, you know, the life form, and then they just give it a new purpose, and then they also evolve, not say evolve, but they shape the body to a new form, but they have an instinct to survive. They know they have to feed, they know they have to keep going in order to live, because if not, they're dead. And I'm like, and from that explanation, I'm like, yo, this is smart, because this is almost like, it makes sense. It's not going to be just sticks walking around with no muscle, still fighting and biting. You know what I'm saying? So let me start with, since you brought it up extreme, how much do you think that concept they fleshed? How come they didn't really flesh it out in the game? You think it was something that was accidental with Neil when he created the Last of Us story?
I mean, when you look at some of the interviews that he's had, and he talked about how he was basically watching a documentary about these cordyceps, and then that's where the idea came from. So I think it was always in there. It's just that with the retrospective of time, you can actually go back and be like, you know what, let me patch every single hole in this brickwork that I've created, right? So you now what we get is the benefit of, this is a story that has been 10 years in the telling, and it's like, whatever plot hole that there was, whatever missing part, whatever, like, it's like people were like, where was Joel? How come Joel left Tommy in between these things? It's like, well, now there's an explanation, now there's a reason. You know, everything is shown to you now because you have had this story 10 years in the making. And this is a benefit that video games usually don't get to show, because usually this comes from the book world, where the book gets adapted into another medium. There is time for the author to be like, okay, let me patch up any part that was missing over here. And now for the first time, we are experiencing that with our medium being adapted and reaping those benefits. So I think it was always intentional. It was always the way it was intended. It's just that now they're like, okay, let's make sure that we show you, that we explain it to you, rather than just have it implied.
Oh, that's a good point, because technically the story is 10 years old. It came out, 2013? So I see what you're saying. So from the moment they first made the story, now that they have, especially since this is episodic, they have more time. That's probably one of the advantages of choosing a TV show over a movie, because movie, you got to condense everything to 2 hours. So whatever story you got to tell, the beginning, the explanation, the plot, and the end, it's got to be done in 2 hours, unless you do like what Lord of the Rings does and spread it out over 3 movies.
Into 4 parts or something.
4 parts, whatever. But an episode, you have time to flesh out. And the story, pretty much the core story, was created 10 years ago. Now you have creativity. He got with the writers of Game of Thrones and Chernobyl. So you're right. So I think the test of time gave him the ability to really flesh out and do these nuances and details. Jay Barry, how important, how your view, when you first saw this episode and you saw how, because, that thing was pretty scary for me, right? Because to me, the guy was talking a bit of truth, right? With the fungus and stuff like that. Did that set the tone for you? Like, this shit's about to get serious. Especially when you played the game, you already knew how serious it was going to get. But now you're like, scientifically, like, this shit's going to get serious.
Yeah, like, I feel like that was the setup for all of the people that played the game. Like, here's how we are fully explaining why we don't have any spores here in the game. Yeah. I mean, in the show, but we're thoroughly explaining the reasons why. And I feel like that explanation was great. And then when we finally got to see it, especially with the grandma, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, it just added on to everything that we were just hearing from the beginning. So yeah, I had my doubts with it, but I understood where it was going, especially now seeing the show, because it does make more sense as far as like, this to make it more believable and more real. Because spores, everybody would have to be wearing masks all day, but it's a video game. You can separate, a floor that has spores and a floor that don't have spores, because it's video game. It's not real. But this show is to depict the realism. Like this could possibly happen. And then they sold it with the first explanation and they're showing it, later on in the show. So I felt like it was a great setup for everything.
Yeah. All right. So that's thank you for bringing that up, Extreme. That was a very good that's true. That was a very good, and I think it's a very pivotal part of the show. And I kind of, that's why when the conversation of no spores, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. Like, I'm not even gonna talk about it because Neil Druckmann was involved. Remember, we got word that they were gonna first originally do a movie, but I guess because of the producers wanted a more sexier, sex, Transformer, lots of bang, Michael Bay type shit. Neil Druckmann wasn't feeling that, and I'm glad that Sony listened to him, right? Because they could be like, "Hey, Neil Druckmann, stay in your lane. You're just a game developer. Let the expert." You know what I mean? They could be very what's the word? Dismissive, simply because he's a game director. I'm glad Sony, whoever. I don't know if it's the CEO of Sony, whoever. I'm glad somebody sided with Neil, even though he was just a game director, doesn't have the experience of an actual movie. Over whoever pitched that stupid ass idea. I'm glad somebody was like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're gonna listen to Neil. We're gonna go in his direction, and I'm glad they went with that. Right?
I think that this is all part of Jim Ryan's plan to get 300 million consoles sold. He wants the PlayStation properties to break through the zeitgeist and go beyond the boundaries. And the only way you do that is by honestly showing what video games can offer.
Yeah.
I think about all of the people that are now going to buy The Last of Us Part 1, and they are not going to be disappointed. They're not going to be sold a false promise. They are going to see exactly the world that they fell in love with through the show, and are going to experience pretty much the same story beat for beat, minus some of the nuances that are going to be different. I'm not so sure if the first scene explains away the spoils thing, but I can definitely say that it was pivotal for a new audience to be able to buy into the fiction of the world.
Yeah, all right. So that's a very good part. So now let's go. Now we could talk about Sarah, right?
Yeah, now we talk about Sarah.
Her personality, how she did an amazing job of instantly grabbing on to not just the audience but also the gamers. To be honest, I think the gamers got more out of that scene because we know what Sarah means to Joe Miller. We know we know the whole actually Sarah is like really the core piece because that's how Joe ultimately ends up, how would you say, as a father figure, love Ellie. You understand what I'm saying? So we understand how crucial Sarah was. But based on the game, you don't get much of Sarah. You control her for a little bit. It was more of, for the most part, you just saw how everything just went upside down from her perspective. That was really the beginning part. And then we saw the scene of all scenes where she got shot. But in the show, they made her a really likable character. She's a normal, everyday teenager. You saw how she was in a relationship with her dad, how she joked around, how close. You could get a sense that it was just, Joel, Sarah, and then obviously Tommy, and that's it. And you can tell how close everything is to that. And then the scene she goes through, like, you already saw the little subtleties that she was going through. The grandma scene, right? That was a little creepy. Not that, some people are exaggerating, I think, and saying it's the creepiest scene ever. I mean, I've seen creepier, but it was a start of something, right? Especially if you never played the game. But if you play the game, you're like, man, this is really good build up, right? So I'm gonna start with Jay Barry.
Yeah. It was a lead up to that grandma scene because when she was talking to the other older lady, Miss Sadler, the grandma was freaking out. Like you can see she's turning. She was turning at that moment, and I was just like, yo, the way how they got it focused on Sarah and Miss Sadler. But the grandma in the background kind of blurred out, but it's like freaking out.
Yeah,
definitely turned it.
And what's cool is like we know what that means, but that is new for us. So it's like it's kind of like we know the game, but they found a way to add something new for us. While at the same time, like my wife was like, "Holy shit!" Like, you see that? And I'm like, so like me and my wife are both enjoying this, even though I have the experience and you guys have the experience because we know the whole story. It still feels new because we're seeing these little intricacies like, yo, this is different and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? What do you think about Extreme?
So I love the whole Sarah component. I love the fact that she's a mixed race person in this thing. I love her hair. Just celebrating, black women and just black excellence on screen is always great. But also just the entire way that she's portrayed, she's exactly the same character. It's just that this time her world is expanded. We get to see more of what her life is about. Yeah. And I love the fact that it's like this entire world is literally falling from the sky around her, and it's her perspective. And even
she barely notices. That's what's really crazy.
Exactly. She's got that innocence, right? Like she keeps hearing these things on the news, and she's like, "Oh, there's something going on in Jakarta," and she knows where Jakarta is, but it's so far away that it just seems such a remote problem. And it was our experience, I think, with the pandemic itself. We hear stories in the beginning, and then we're just like, "Oh, okay, we'll fix it within 2 weeks, right? We are humanity, we win." And so you get to see her world. She goes to school on a normal day. She gets her father.
Somebody mentioned it. Shout out to Captain Ply, the kid twitching, taking the test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
amazing.
And I noticed all of those subtleties, but it's so great because it's like she's just got this thing where it's like, this is my dad's birthday, and that's really the entire point of her day that day. And so it kind of acts as a mask. So even though she feels that there's something off and she keeps seeing it, she's just innocent, and that's what she is. She's the picture of innocence, and then it makes it all the more heart-wrenching when everything does start falling, around. And for me, the most powerful scene was actually from the game to the show was leaving that couple behind with the baby when they're driving past, and Joel is like, keep going. Like hard. I knew that's what he says, but in live action, it meant so much more. That for me was the most powerful scene in terms of like seeing the adaptation, because everything else is like, oh, I've seen this, I know bit for bit what's gonna happen. I was even saying the lines, like when he's like, where'd you get the money for this? And she's like, drugs. I sell all the drugs. I literally said it in time with her. And so she's amazing performance.
Easter egg, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the shirt she was wearing was the same shirt Sarah wore in game. They made a replica. I was like, man, that's amazing detail right there. I kind of like how they shifted it to where she went into the stranger's house and grandma went ham and stuff like that. Amazing scene.
Instead of a random neighbor just coming through the window.
Yeah, and I like the dog. The dog is like, man, hell nah, yo.
That's the blackest character there. Like,
She's like, hey, come on, let's go. And the dog's like, oh, hell nah. I ain't come over here to come back to this shit. Like, you on your own.
This is the thing I'm trying to warn you away from. You want to go back in there? Nah.
It's like, because humans are stupid. And the dog was out.
Exactly. Right. Dogs are nah, man.
All right. So, going into, I'm going to ask you this. So, Hard A brought up a point. We're going to talk about the watch. So, Hard A mentioned that in the game, it's alluded to that Sarah bought the watch for Joel.
Yeah, she did in the game. She buys it.
Yeah, but in the show, she didn't buy the watch.
She repairs it.
She repairs it. Now, do you think they messed up, or do you think there's a significance to that? I have a theory on why they went that direction. I have a theory.
I think it's just more realistic for a teenager to repair something rather than buy a brand new watch. I think that's all there is to it. That just make it even more grounded than the story was originally.
Okay.
I don't really read too much into it, but hey, happy to hear theories.
I read into it. What do you think, J-Bar? You think that and remember, there's so much. I mean, we could be on this podcast all week talking about the little details they did on the show. Do you think the watch, the change in story of the watch, going from buying a watch to fixing a watch, do you think that was just accidental mistake, or do you think they didn't think much of it, or do you think that was a purposeful statement? They did it for a reason. What do you think?
They definitely did it for a reason, and I think it's for like a later reason, especially when you're dealing with Ellie, and like fixing the watch or fixing the watch again. But yeah, I like the change. I didn't really see a big, real difference between her buying and her fixing it. Still, the sentimental value is still there as far as this is something that in the show. This is something that Joel pretty much left in his drawer and had no reason to use again. But her daughter made it. Her daughter made the effort to go out and fix it, even though using his own money to fix something that he would never get done by himself. Okay. And I think that's the sentimental value that will carry over. But in the game, doesn't Ellie fix the watch again or not?
No, she buys it. It's a brand new gift.
Or Ellie bought him a new watch?
Yeah, in the game, it's heavily implied anyway. Like he'd never seen a watch before, so yeah.
So my theory is, because I'm gonna skip forward to a scene. So the scene where the guard was supposed to kill Ellie, Joe gets the flashback of what happened to his daughter, and that automatically made him react. You know what I'm saying? And I have a feeling that's gonna be a theme throughout the show, where something. That's the reason why the Sarah story was a little bit longer than normal, so that can have more to connect with Ellie and Sarah, and there's potential that that Ellie is gonna, by accident, not on purpose, she's gonna do things that makes Joel remember his daughter, right? Little things, and it's not purposeful. It just so happens, right? Like for example, that scene where the guard is telling Joel, "Get out the way, Joel. I gotta do this." It just ended up a flashback that mimicked that scene, right? And Joel didn't take it kindly, and he just beat the shit out of that guard. I have a feeling that scene where Sarah got the watch fixed is going to be replicated by Ellie. Because remember, what did Ellie say? And we'll talk a little bit more about Ellie, but she's a very, she's a teenager, don't give a fuck. She talks a lot of shit. Yeah. She cracked an obvious joke. She's like, "Hey, Joel, your watch is broken."
But she does it in the game.
Yeah,
she does it in the game.
Yeah,
in the game too.
Yeah, so you already know that Ellie is aware of the broken watch, but obviously she had it just to talk shit, right? Like, why is this dude wearing a broken watch and we talk shit? But as the relationship grows, I can see Ellie scrounging for parts, and then as a gift, she's like, "Hey, I want to show you something."
I mean, they specifically pointed out that it was a spring missing.
Yeah.
So there is they could go for that angle where she finds the spring and then eventually she just fixes it for him,
which will naturally be another memory that ties Ellie with Sarah, because that's really what's gonna have to happen, especially for the new audience. We know it, but for the new audience, they're gonna have to see this connection between Joe and Ellie, because we all know, at least if they keep going the way they're going, we all know where this ultimately ends, and the new audience has to see, like, you goddamn right, he's not going to make that decision.
I mean, I think the biggest change that they made in the show from the game is the fact that the dog could sniff out that that something was wrong with that. Because if you remember, when Sarah is leaving the house, the dog is staring at the grandma. And in the game, that's never implied that dogs can somehow smell the fungi on people.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference. And that might go with the whole why they change spores and things around. Like, dogs could be a way of like an early warning sign in the show, which doesn't happen in the game. Because even in The Last of Us Part 2, dogs can just sniff out people, but they do not tell who is infected or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was a good thing, because the dog was just straight staring. I would have saw that as weird. I would have been like, anytime I see a dog stare at a corner or whatever, I show respect for dogs, because they looking at something.
Especially for a person that is familiar, right? Because the dog lived in that house for years, I would imagine.
When dogs be like doing something weird, I'm like, oh shit. Like, what you doing, boy? Like, oh shit.
About to go down.
It's time to go. Right? So now we go into the scene. Everything starts going crazy. It's almost like for like with the game. Like, they show all the craziness. They even do it in the same angles as the game, which is impressive, right? Because now the movie, or the show really, like actual Hollywood TV directors are taking cues from the game. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there was a first-person view there for a while.
Yeah.
Where you were looking through Sarah's eyes. And I thought that was really nicely done. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. They even did the burning house, the plane crashing, going into town. Yeah. Like, go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, normally...
They also faked you out with the car crash, because the car hits, their car.
Yeah, in the game, you get T-boned.
The car stopped. You know what I mean? Like, freaked you out. Like, oh, it's about to crash. But nope, it stopped.
Yeah. Oh, did it happen? Yeah. Good catch.
Yeah.
So the cinematography of the game influencing real TV shows. That's incredible. And this game is 10 years old, like you said. So on the PS3, like I'll tell you, man, Neil Druckmann, I have to give him more props. Yo, that dude's a visionary, bro. Because you know what I'm saying? Like the show is taking cues from the game when usually it's like the opposite. Games usually take cues from movies and shows because they do cinematography better. Yeah. So it's always trying to copy them.
Yep. I mean, I think that video games have been this good for a while. I just think that now it's like we finally have a studio that is putting in the money to show just how much more there is. And, you know, in animated stuff, like, I don't know. I'm not really good at movies. So there's lots of like, was it Alita or something?
Battle Angel?
Yeah, Battle Angel, that's it. Like they took a lot of like game style cinematography as well when they were creating that. So it's like it has been a thing for a while now, but it's like now we get to see it, you know, from a PlayStation Studios perspective, which I think is the biggest difference when it comes to this adaptation. So
okay. All right. So to finish off, because we could go into details to the end, right? I want to ask you guys one question. If there was one thing so far, I mean, I know they have multiple episodes. I'm going to ask you 2 questions to each of you. Number 1, what do you think they still could have done better? And number 2, what do you hope don't happen? Meaning something that will ultimately ruin the show or ruin episodes. So we'll start with Jay Barry. What is one thing you think they still could have done better? If anything, if you think everything's great as it is, that's fine. But in your opinion, if you feel like there's something that still could have been done better, and then number 2, what are you hoping doesn't happen?
Yeah, what could have done better for me in that first episode? I felt like the lead up to when they met Ellie could have been better. I kind of like the original video game premise better because first they got to kill what's his name for messing up their
he
weapon.
Was already dead. Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were already dead, and they skipped that entangle between the Fireflies and Robert and things like that. So I felt like they could have, if they was going to change it, we could have seen that entanglement between them fighting it out there. But we got to skip in that. But yeah, I felt like they could have did a much better job setting up Ellie and Joel Mita. It felt like it was too rushed, in my opinion, because it was the end of the episode, and I was like, you should have slowed that down a little bit.
Okay, all right,
or kept the original.
Okay, so
I wanted to see that gangster scene where Tess does off this man Robert. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, man, he already missed the.
People don't realize Tess is a beast. She don't give a fuck.
I felt like one thing they should have did better is setting up Tess as far as she's a beast. Like in the game, when she was walking with Joel into the other areas, mad people was like, oh, what's going on? But now with Tess, it was like, oh, sorry, pretty lady. You know what I mean? They're backing away, and it was like, oh, it's Tess, it's you. You know what I mean? I feel like that test, being empowered was not really there. It was more Joel, because it seemed like a lot of people fear Joel more than they fear Tess.
Yes. In fact, they tried to escalate it when she was captured. And, he said, but what about Joel? What about Joel?
Yeah, so it's like your friend.
They're setting up the stage to get the audience to know that Joel's the threat. Yeah, so you're right. So
but the thing is, Joel listens to Tess.
Yeah.
So.
Second question: what are you afraid can go wrong that you hope doesn't go wrong? What are you hoping doesn't go wrong? What are you hoping, like, please don't do this?
I feel like hopefully they nail some of the powerful scenes that the game had. Like I said, I'm open to the changes now that I've seen the first episode, but some stuff I don't want them to, just go the complete opposite way from, like, away from the video game. So yeah, I'm just looking as far as like, there were certain moments in episode 1 where I'm happy that they did reference a video game. Like when she did say, I sell hardcore drugs. That made me smile. I was like, oh yeah, that's something that, I can recognize, something that we played in the video game. Yeah. So hopefully like those big moments or, powerful moments, they still have those, and, they can flesh that out properly. But I got my trust in them. They did a great job with episode 1.
So. Ryan Landis says, don't show Joel's ass. Oh shit. like Halo. Oh shit.
No naked scenes with Joel.
No. In fact, you know what's funny? they may have already put a little joke behind that, because didn't she say, "Hey, your shirt's dirty"? And he's like, "Ah, shit," but he didn't actually take off his shirt in front of everybody. You think that's like a quick sneak diss?
I really don't think so.
I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah, I think so, because it's like this was probably shot years ago, so the timing wouldn't be right.
They put that scene quick in. All right, so Extreme, same questions to you. What do you feel could have been improved on, and then number 2, what do you hope doesn't happen?
Listen, nothing could have been improved on, because now we're just talking about nitpicking. And I don't like nitpicking because nitpick. No. Because the thing is, it's a new medium. It's a new medium, and this isn't made for us. This is made for my girlfriend. This is made for your wife. This is made for everybody else that dismisses video games as just like Super Mario, right? So it's like we have to allow the medium to have its own nuances. What I'm hoping for is the whole spore thing, because the truth is, in the game, even though the spores, you don't encounter them that often, the fact that Ellie can breathe through them and does not need a gas mask has always been a big deal.
Yeah, but there
so now that they've taken that away, yeah, exactly. So now that they've taken that away, it's like, how many other visible signs of, oh, she's different, she's unique, are there going to be? Because that was always a big part of everything. And I think there were even times where Ellie gives up her gas mask for another character, and she's like, yeah, no, you take this because I don't need it. And then she's like, I'll explain later. I think that's The Last of Us Part 2, actually, when she does that for, I think, her girlfriend at the time. But anyways, so now that they've taken that away, it's like, okay, how do we make sure that you keep seeing that she's different, that she's unique, that she's special? Because I really want people to get a hint of that before they get a big, massive kind of like reveal that, oh, she could be the key to curing the world. And I felt like in the game, that was really well, like the lead up to that moment where it was like, oh, she's the key, she's the final missing piece of the puzzle, was really well done. And I think the spawn mechanic had a big part to do with that. So while I'm not worried about it and I don't need it to happen, I am curious as to how well it could be done some other way. And I'm looking forward to that. But it's kind of terrifying to think that, oh, a key pillar of the way that this disease propagated in the game, in the fiction of the world, is now being replaced with something else. And I just hope that it's not goofy. I just hope that it's not like tentacles following you slowly to just be extra creepy. Because for me, that would kind of read as sort of goofy, sort of like, oh, we had a better solution for this. But if it's equally as good and equally as compelling, and it just had to change because, I don't know, actors didn't want to wear face masks for entire episodes at a time or whatever, then yeah, it'll be interesting.
Okay, all right. That's pretty good. All right. Thank you for the comments. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. All right. Back to gaming. All right. And this one's special for Jay Bari. Suicide Squad. I guess people with rumors now, people have I'm just gonna say feeling. I'm not gonna describe the type of feeling that this game's gonna be gas. So when games are talked about as games as a service, I think there's a fine line. I think there's a clear delineation within the gaming community. Some are looking forward to it, and the only thing they're nervous about is, will the game be supported? Will it have the stuff? Let me do with the super chat real quick. Javon, he said, P-Rock, it's HBO. It got that Game of Thrones and what's THOD treatment?
The House of Dragons.
The House of Dragons. Good, thank you. Yeah, it does. It got that good high production. You are right. That is absolutely true, my brother. Thank you so much for the super chat. Now back to, so you got this side of gamers that, they'll give it a chance. The main concern is the support, how they're gonna, commit to it. And then you got the other side that automatically is gonna say it's trash. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out. I'm on that side.
Like 9 out of 10 gas games ain't that good, and now they ruined another thing. Now I'm gonna just start out with this. Me potentially, from the moment they first veiled it, I had a feeling it was gonna be gas from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? So I already had that feeling. Like right now, when I hear about games having 4-player in the game, like co-op, whatever, the first thing I'm going to assume that it's a gas game, right? You have 4 players, each with a unique character. They're gonna make this into a gas game, right? So I already kind of You know, it's like Gotham Knights as well. I already had a feeling this was going to happen. So I already knew they were going that direction. The second gripe I had, in my opinion, and this is just me, was the actual characters they pick. I think they picked 4 of the shittiest characters ever, right? And I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to give you my spiel on this one, right? Let's say like Forspoken or, you know, any new game. You have a new character, whatever. You learn to go after the game and appreciate the game for that character they're trying to introduce. It's a new game, whatever, right? For me, comic book games has a crutch because you already have people that want to play certain characters already established before games even created. I mean, when Batman Arkham Asylum first came out, and Rocksteady showed that you can actually make a AAA Game of the Year level Batman, that already, and this was during the PS3 360 era, that already planted the seed in gamers to say, yo, this is not just your run-of-the-mill comic book cash grab game. This is an actual focused, concentrated AAA title. Now that we have that established and it can be done, I want to see the same thing, and then people list all the characters. Now, the list is huge. You got people going from Punisher to Deadpool, Superman, obviously, Hulk, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Spider-Man, right? All this stuff. Everybody was just naming all these lists. Fast forward a few years later, Insomniac at E3 2016 shows Spider-Man as a trailer. Again, another big AAA Game of the Year level title. Game comes out, now it's certified. Now, we seen Batman, we seen Spider-Man, this is all we want now. We want to see big AAA, we don't want to see comic book games treated as cash grabs no more, right? Or just quick movie tie-ins. We want them to be treated as big AAA titles. And once again, people just break out the list. You know, you got Punisher, X-Men, Wolverine, another trailer. You understand? I guarantee how many people said, yo, I can't wait till we get Captain Boomerang in this motherfucker. Nobody said that, bro. Like, yo, I don't care who you are. Ain't nobody wishing for no goddamn Captain Boomerang game. Ain't nobody wishing for King Shark. Yo, I will barely even say, did everyone even really ask for Harley Quinn? I could maybe understand.
Harley Quinn is
not
awesome.
even. I could maybe understand if it was these 4 characters. And I would name you the 4 characters. Number 1, Joker. I could understand if they use Joker. Joker's iconic. You
can't play as Joker, though.
Joker is iconic as motherfucker. So I can understand him.
If you were Joker, you would just kill your teammates.
Yeah,
that's what you would do.
But I can understand if they want to use the Joker. So I can understand people. You know what? I could fuck being the Joker. Number 1. I can understand Deathstroke. The motherfucker is a badass. So I could completely understand they use him, right? I could understand Bane over King Shark. Mad people would love to play as Bane. And then I could understand who's my 4th one. Lex Luthor. Got it. Makes sense. Lex Luthor, Bane, Deathstroke, Joker. I'll be honest.
Listen, all characters that's not Suicide Squad, though.
Listen, I don't give a damn. Listen, those 4 guys, you sold me on the game. I'm like, oh shit, these 4 guys together to kill the Justice League. I get it, but what the fuck are you gonna do with a boomerang, bro? A boomerang! Like, he is so corny. And King Shark, oh my god, this is a terrible ensemble of shit. Like, you literally...
But that's the point of the Suicide Squad. That they're meant to be like...
But the thing is, we have a list. Gamers have a list. Like, how
you have a list.
How far down the list is Captain Boomerang? If we were to pull up gamers across the spectrum, like, hey, the next big AAA game from Rocksteady, list all the characters you want to see. Where is Captain Boomerang on this list? Yo, this shit is crazy.
P-Rock, you have to choose the list of Suicide Squad members because it is called the Suicide Squad.
This is the beautiful about video games. There is no boundaries.
I feel like you're trying to get away with the game you want.
You listen, I guarantee if I rewrote time, if I rewrote this story, if I went back in time, I said, nah, Rocksteady, we're going to rewrite the script. And right off the bat, instead of introducing those 4 morons, and they introduced Bane, Joker, Deathstroke.
I need you to stop disrespecting Harley Quinn, please.
Listen. I'm sorry, bro. Like, listen. Harley Quinn cute is cool, the movie, the TV show, but come on, bro. Like, we want the Joker.
Now Harley Quinn is a great character, man. She's
we want the
Catwoman.
We want the Joker. Now listen, we're not asking.
I mean, the whole premise is like the Suicide Squad. There's a bunch of misfits that they are doing impossible challenges.
Yeah,
but yeah, like Captain Boomerang is not a popular character per se. It's somebody that I know I'm going to main because from what I've seen from the gameplay or the cutscenes, they obviously upped his abilities and what he can do as far as, the character itself. But yeah, I mean,
does he teleport basically?
So, hey, somebody asked me, did I watch they asked me, did I watch the Suicide Squad movie? Yes, and they're terrible.
They are terrible.
They are terrible. They're abysmal. They're abysmal.
They're not popular characters.
They're abysmal. But easy. Not even. Listen, you can have characters aren't popular, but if you flush them out, like his name is Captain Boomerang. Like, I don't know. Like, the name alone is fucking stupid. Like, it's cool in the comics because comic has 10,000 characters, but to main stupidity and it's just weird. Like, DC, you got better dudes like Captain and King Shark. Oh my god!
Dude, you're just taking shots at Jay Barry now. He told you that he's gonna main Captain Boomerang.
No. Barry knows.
You're just taking shots now.
No. Barry knows I've been making fun of these dudes from the moment this shit got unveiled.
I made fun of Captain Boomerang because I was like, oh, they made Captain Boomerang cool in the game.
I think I remember the first Twitter. I'm like, so I can't play as Green Lantern. I can't play as Wonder Woman.
Why would you want to play as Green Lantern? He's lame.
Green Lantern is lame. Listen, you're done.
Green Lantern is lame.
Listen, you're done talking for the rest of the podcast. You're done talking. Like, what?
I'm kicked out. That's it.
You're done. Eject. You're ejected. Like,
it's
I'm thinking,
over. Bye-bye.
I literally can't get Flash. Luckily, later on, they announced Wonder Woman. But at the time, no Wonder Woman, no Flash, no Green Lantern. I'm like, but hey, Puerto Rock, enjoy some fucking King Shark. Like, what? I'm like, yo, what are we doing in this motherfucker? Like, what happened? Like, who greenlit it? Like, whose mans is this? Now let's talk. So, besides the terrible characters, let's talk about gas, right? Now, Jay Barry, I'm glad you came on because I want to talk to you. You said Avengers is a great game.
Yes. It's a good game. I enjoy it.
All right. No, enjoy it is fine. But let me tell you something. Are you in trouble? Do I need to dial 911? Like, who's holding you hostage for you to say Marvel is a good game? That game is mid, bro. Yeah.
What's bad about it?
All right, I'll tell you this. I'll start with this because I played the game. I played it extensively. Number one, I could just put a blindfold on my eyes, right? Put a blindfold so I don't see the character selection screen. Blindfold on my eyes. I just take the controller. You just hear the sound. I just press X. Whatever character got picked. I take it off. 0 factor. The actual characters. Like, the teams formed up, 0 factor to how the style... Like, there's no style to the game. You can literally have 4 Thors, and you will play the game the same as compared to mix-up. It literally... They did not actually design the game to where you have to think about the attributes of each fighter to really get the most. 4 Thors... 4 Thors... Listen, I played the game, and I did it! I'm like, I asked friends, let's experiment something. Everybody pick Thor. We beat the game just as easy as if we had fucking a mixed crowd. In fact, I can tell you there's only 2 legit characters that can actually change the scope of the game for the team. Only 2. And that's Kate Bishop, because she's much better at long distance shooting and her powers attribute to that, and Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a great support character. He has a lot of moves that can actually change the game for the team to take advantage of. Everybody else, you can have 4 Iron Mans. You'll beat the game because I did it. I did it with 4 Iron Mans. I did it with 4 Thors. I did it with 4 Hulks. Literally, you could pick any combination. It is irrelevant. It will play out the same. There is no huge advantage to switching teams. And I'm like, this is dumb. They did not put any effort into... If you have 4 Hulks, the game should be just immensely difficult because there's so many capabilities you don't have. It doesn't. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly, and let me tell you why.
Brother, man, I did it. I beat. Listen, we beat missions.
No. I'm not disagreeing with the whole.
It's terrible.
4 characters. I'm not disagreeing with the whole 4 characters. First and foremost, the everybody picking the same characters. That is a newly thing that they did. Where they recently added something like that. With a couple of patch updates. Long before the game came out. Long before after the game came out. So that's something new that you never could have did in the first year and a half in the game. Also, yeah, character development in the game is very, very important. I can have a Thor that can focus on defense and like buffing you or heals, or you can have a Thor that's just focused on like all offense and whatnot. You can create so many different builds in that game, and they also added more stuff as far as heroic stuff that you can further develop your characters for what you pick. Not everybody's going to pick the same thing. I can show you every character, and I say, okay, do this right here. And I'm pretty sure it will take you a while for you to do that.
No, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter because the actual gameplay and the mission structure is irrelevant. The structure of the character is irrelevant. That's what I'm trying to say. You can have 4 of the same exact characters. You will still go through the game easily. The builds doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I don't agree with that. I've done it. It doesn't mean anything.
Have you done like end game stuff as far as like heroic missions?
Yes, I've done heroic missions. I've done the raids. It doesn't matter who you use. It's irrelevant. They did not structure. It's not like Destiny. I'll compare it to Destiny. Destiny had it right. For a lot of missions, you have to have the right builds, the right scheme, or it's gonna be a shit world. Like to really, you're gonna have a tough time. Avengers?
I don't know. Playing Avengers many times where I had to switch up builds and stuff like that.
Not me. So. I'm like, I could pick whoever the fuck I want, and we gonna get through this motherfucker. Like I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like this is really no influence. To me, the only 2 characters that actually had a real impact, right? And that's if even character did it, right? Was Kate Bishop and Spider-Man. Spider-Man especially. Spider-Man is a great support character. But beyond that, you just like I said, everybody put your blindfolds on, pick whoever, all right, take it off, play, and you'll go through the missions just the same.
You got to re-download. I got to witness that one.
Yeah, I thought it was very poorly. I thought it was like very poorly executed in terms of the impact of character development to what you got to do in the game. Like I'm like, yo, this is lazy as fuck. They put no effort into really. Like, you do all these builds, and it don't mean nothing. It just make sure you guys powerful, high damage output, you're good. You'll get through this motherfucker. That's it.
Because there's enemies in that game that can just one-shot you. Like, you definitely have to have some type of, like, buffing of defense and heals in that game to get through some of those, elite heroic hives and the raids and all that stuff from what I've played. But... Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Maybe they nerfed it, but this is over the last 6 months. Well, before the longer, because I started playing like maybe August. That's when I started playing, and I'm like, I went through it.
Yeah, you got all the new patch up and stuff as far as.
So I went through it, and I'm like, yo, man, this game is like, it's just.
You got to run with your boy.
Listen.
I'll open up your eyes to that game.
No. It's too easy. I already did most of it. I'm like, yo, it wasn't like Destiny where there's challenge to that shit. It was not challenging, man. It wasn't. I was like, man, this is like
whatever. You can I
pretty much developed Kate Bishop, Lady Thor, and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And most of the time,
Spider-Man is broken in that game. Spider-Man breaks the game.
He's a great support guy. His powers, literally, you can just make the game easy for the rest of your squad because a lot of his powers, get the opponent stuck.
They stun.
It's great. Yeah, he's a great stun guy. So you just make sure you get to stun everybody is whatever. But I'm like, so that's why I think a lot of people are afraid of when they look at Avengers. A lot of people don't like Avengers. They're afraid that this game might be the same way. Now, I will say this. I will say this. I think Rocksteady is a better studio than who did Avengers. It was not Criterion. Was it not Criterion? Was it Criterion? Crystal Dynamics. I think Rocksteady's a better studio. I just don't know. These are 2 studios that never really done multiplayer before. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if this is your first dab at multiplayer, especially games as a service, can you get it right?
The thing is, like, I'm going back to Suicide Squad, but when it comes to Avengers and people dissing Avengers, they're not talking about content. You know what I mean? Like the main gripe that a lot of people have when it comes to games as a service is content. Are you going to have me staying here? Avengers have a lot of content to that game. Like, I see a lot of mix.
It's repetitive.
I see a lot of mix. I mean, every game is repetitive as far as these gas say. I see a lot of mixed opinions when it comes to people when it comes to gas games, and I get people's dislike when it comes to games as a service games because I share the same notions as well. But I hate it when people just automatically write off a game just due to the fact that it's gas. Not every gas game has predatory.
That's
every gas
as soon as you send me gas, practices. I'm out.
But let's say like this: how often? I mean, it's probably not a fair question, right? But how often are there good gas games as compared to bad gas games? It just feels like
the thing is, people, majority of people that complain about gas games, guess what? No. They don't play gas games.
So because they're lame and they fucking suck. That's why.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly a game can get announced as being a gas game. PlayStation is about to announce 12 of these motherfuckers. You don't hear nobody having the same arguments about Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? 12 of these motherfuckers is coming to PlayStation from now to 2026, and everybody was on it when I was saying
that's because PlayStation has earned the benefit of the doubt.
I don't want to hear it.
100%.
It's hypocritical. 100%. It's hypocritical.
I'm gonna say this.
Let it be what it is.
I'm gonna say this to defend my point.
Just now, if a game is gas, you turn off.
I'm out. I'm out.
So to defend my point, like say for Outriders is a gas game, right? Is it Outriders?
Oh, yes. Outriders, I would have said is like a gas game. Like gas,
I feel like the concept. It's like Destiny, right? It's kind of like Destiny. They're trying to do what Destiny.
It's a looter, but it's not. I don't think it's a gas game.
So like, let's say if Outriders was a gas game, I had no issues with Outriders. I don't really have issues with any game being gas. For me though, I don't think people really want comic games to be gas. I think comic book heroes has a story to tell, and people want what Arkham Asylum did. People want what Insomniac's doing with Spider-Man. People want they don't want Wolverine to be a gas game. I think people want Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think because by nature of comic books, people want to see because this is the first time where we really could get comic books get that AAA Game of the Year treatment. So I think people want these characters to come to life, and they want their story to be told. They want the Daredevil story. They want the Wonder Woman story. They want the Hulk story. They just don't want developers to take advantage of comics and be like, oh, let's find a way to make more money through money transactions by making these gas games. When gamers really want heroes and their stories to be told, because this, technically speaking, for as long as gaming has been around and for as long as comic book gaming has been around, this is really the first time we are starting to see AAA games.
Persona wants to come in. Persona wants to come in.
He can always come in. Hey, Persona, hold on, Persona. Hold on. Bro, we already covered this. The first time you were a guest. Now you just come in and just go to the... I'm not serving you. If you want to pop in. I'm not opening the door. Just turn the knob, walk in, go to the fridge, grab a drink, pull up on the chair. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, I agree.
Hold on. Persona, I told you already. I'm not... Listen, you go to the damn fridge yourself. In fact, while you're there, get me a drink.
Oh, yeah.
No invite needed. Don't be asking, can I jump in? Hell nah. I ain't getting off my couch.
My fault, man. I'm like, this your podcast, so I'm showing respect.
Nah, you already. I ain't trying to. Nah, yo, get me a beer too. Pull up. What's up? Persona about to say something.
Yo, Persona, you there?
Hello. He's
fixing something.
Yeah, my fault. I was switching to my AirPods.
He's raising the bass. He's about to blow this up. He's raising the bass.
Oh nah, yo, listen, man. I've been listening to this show from the beginning. Hey, yo, P-Rock, you my boy, brother. Cut the bullshit out, man. The shit you talking.
Listen.
First of all, with Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad is a team. That's a team-based game. I mean, that's a team. Like, you know, like they've got like mad people outside of Nonaway or King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot. But those are like the most popular of the group. And when it comes to that type of game, I always knew that it was going. It always looked like it was going to be live service because you got 4 people playing all at once.
I agree. So we could agree with that.
How the hell is that going to work?
So I agree with that.
But with Avengers is a great game. Like, it really is. It's a very fun game, and you know, me and Barry put like 200 plus hours in that shit. I put a lot of time into that. The problem with Avengers is that the content it staggered a little bit, right? But I think the gameplay loop and all that stuff was great. When it comes to these live service games, I agree with Barry, man. A lot of people write these games off without having actually played them. Now, granted, developers need to understand that if they are going to go down this games as a service route, they need to make sure that the content is substantial day one and that the content flow is consistent. That's my biggest thing, and that the game is fun. You feel me? Because there's tons of, like, you know, games as a service, a live service, or games that's meant to be more co-op friendly or whatever, like Godfall and stuff like that, where I love those games, but that content it take too long.
Hey, to check how many hours you played that game, can I do it through the app, or do I have to log on to the console?
Yeah, like you gotta be on the console.
I want to see how many hours I put into Marvel Avengers. Because I ain't these dudes. Listen, I ain't these dudes.
No, I'm not saying that you didn't. I'm not disputing that you didn't play the game.
Maybe you guys are talking from. Like I said, I played the game towards the second half of last year. So it's after all the updates, all the decisions, all the patches, pictures, whatever. I didn't.
Yeah, but what difficult? Like, I heard what you were saying with Avengers. What difficulty was you playing on? Because if you was playing on the harder difficulty, you're not going in there with 4 Thors and getting through that.
So no, because some of the trophies, some things you have to do things on hard. So I played on hard, but I'm gonna tell you. Let me look.
Because you know there were times, you know, like I got the best Miss Marvel on the game. You feel me? My Miss Marvel is like top tier. You feel me? And she's like a DPS healer. And, you know, the builds that you can go for in that game is really dope because you got the PM particles, you got the gamma radiation build you can go for, ice builds, and stuff like that. So and then there's armor pieces that go towards specific things. So you could have a build that goes more towards, damage, have one that goes more towards defensive builds, and, you know, more into your
Why is it that when people want to, like, hype up live service games, they always make it sound like homework? Like, oh my god, I've got this build, I've got this armor set, and
my question to you is, when did you start gaming? Because it's the same thing with if you're playing a JRPG. You know, how do you want to? You know, what type of armor set do you want to have on the character? You know, if you got a healer,
except in a JRPG, all of the content is in the game, so I don't have to worry about battle passes and season passes and packs and things and expansion packs and blah 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 blah. There, that's the thing.
But Avengers had content there for you to play, so I don't understand what you're talking about.
Again, it's like the whole point about the live service games is that it's not finished. So for me, I'm like,
do you play? But wait. Do you play these games? What live service games have you played?
I don't know. World Company. I guess that technically counts as a live service game.
That's a multiplayer. That's a multiplayer third-person shooter.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a multiplayer third-person free-to-play. That's a multiplayer.
Is it not live service though?
That's a free-to-play. That's a free-to-play game.
Or do we not count it? I'm literally asking.
No.
I'm not.
No, it's a free-to-play.
What do we call that?
What is it?
That's a free-to-play.
So what do we call that? Is it not a live service game?
It's a free-to-play game though. Like that's game? Not. But if you're trying to use Rogue Company to compare to if you're trying to use Rogue Company and compare to Avengers or Destiny or something,
I'm not trying to compare it. You're just saying what live service games did you ask, and I just answered you. I'm not trying to compare them.
I would look at that as a free to play live service. If you want to look at it,
it is a live service game,
so
but
it's
not a live service game, though.
It's not in the same. It's not. Yes, but it's not in the same realm of.
Okay, you can say it's not analogous. You can just say that, but it is live service game.
But that's what I'm trying to say. You trying to say that games are incomplete. A game like Rogue Company, you choose a character that you want to use, and you're going into multiplayer matches, and you having
that sounds very similar. That sounds very similar.
That's not no, it's not similar to Avengers.
You literally Avengers, you pick a character that you want to choose, and then you go into missions, and then you play them, right?
That's not the same thing with Rogue Company. Again, Avengers is a story-based game where you're going in. You have your story, you have your builds with armor sets and different types of things using your abilities and all this other shit. Again, Rogue Company is just a third-person multiplayer shooter, free to play. You can choose characters. So I don't think those two things are equal. But what was you gonna say?
You talked about like when you was like talking about armor sets and everything. Like RPGs have had armor sets and build diversity and everything. Except again, when I think about, for example, Kingdoms of Amalur, it's like all of that content is there pretty much on day one. And that for me is the part, and I don't have to pay any extra money. That's the thing. You
didn't have to pay for anything in Avengers though. So what are you talking about?
I mean, I didn't play the game, but for me, the entire point of a live service game is that it is continuously being improved on, which for a multiplayer game, I'm fine with, but for a single player game, I'm not.
Yeah, but a live service game typically is not going to be a single player game. It's a multiplayer game that's have a campaign to it.
I guess that's the part that I don't like then. I would rather have a full campaign.
Yeah, but you are getting a full campaign. Avengers had a full campaign. Godfall got a full campaign.
It has a full campaign. The part is more gets added as time goes on.
Yeah. More story get added to it. It's no different. So like Spider-Man came out in 2018, but months after they had DLC. Did you not enjoy Spider-Man?
Of course I enjoy Spider-Man, but I wouldn't classify Spider-Man as a live service game.
I'm not saying it's a live service game, but I'm saying that there's added content
DLC that you got to pay for
to the DLC. Yeah,
I mean the thing is the DLC
did that ruin your?
And you had to pay for the game as well.
I mean, paying for the game is I'm fine with. Well, yeah, that I'm fine with, but there's no microtransactions. There's no shop.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There was still DLC after.
It literally does matter. Released. No, it literally does matter.
You said
majority of these games, you don't have to buy any live service. I know.
You just told us yourself that you don't like how live service games is. It doesn't release with all the content and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Barry just brought up the example of Spider-Man, which released with.
Did Spider-Man release with extra characters later? Like, do we get another Spider-Man later?
It released with DLC and it released with extra. They released extra costumes as well for Spider-Man.
But the skins were free. So
it doesn't matter. So this
no, what do you mean it doesn't matter? The entire point is that
the stuff in Avengers you can earn for free by just playing the game. So what's your point?
Yeah, you can
after how many hours
live service games free?
It doesn't matter how many hours.
Seriously, live service games are a hugely different proposition. Like, why are we pretending that they are not? And I never said I had an issue with paying for things. I never said I had an issue with paying for things.
But what experience are you basing this off of outside of Rogue Company, which is a free-to-play game? You haven't played one of these games, so
the reason I haven't played any
your opinion and your experience.
Here's the thing. You guys are always so dismissive of the person who's on the other side.
Hold on, real quick. How the fuck do I see my hours?
You gotta go to your profile and then go to games, and then just scroll down to whatever game you're trying to see the hours for, and it'll tell you.
So go to my profile.
Yeah, go to profile, like games tab. Go to the games tab, and then just scroll down.
Oh man, my man. See, this is why I say you're the best PlayStation podcast.
He knows all the stuff. But yeah, going back to the argument, it's like the reason that I don't play these games is precisely
78 hours play, 85% trophy. And the last time I played was 5 months ago.
Oh, that's what's up.
So that was it.
Well
so 43 out of 51. So I played the game.
So,
I'm not a trophy hunter.
You played the Wakanda Forever DLC.
Oh yeah. I did all the DLCs.
That was in August.
I did all of it. Yeah. So 43 out of 51 trophies earned, 78 hours. Now, so I'm not dismissing the possible builds you can build. What I'm saying is the builds you can build for me compared to, and I'll use Destiny because I played that game hardcore. Even Destiny 2, I played that hardcore. I had to stop. Because it was taking up too much of my time, and I felt that if I kept playing Destiny 2, I would just not play a lot of games. The way you build your characters in Destiny 2, or even switch them up, because once you max out your characters, and let's say you do a raid or something, to me, Destiny did a much better job of each team's making sure they have the building or whatever, and it was impactful. Even in normal mode for a normal raid, as compared to what these guys, what's the developers again that did Avengers?
Crystal Dynamics.
They didn't do as good of a job.
No, I agree with you there.
I didn't think the builds was that impactful. Maybe if you did super hard mode, but for the most part, I didn't feel the impact. I think you generally have a very powerful guy. You all get together because I've done it. I've done it with 4 Thors. I've done it with 4 Hulks, and I was like, "Yep, you could just do it."
No, I get you there. I think I do agree that Destiny has definitely done this whole live service thing the best, in my opinion, because they've maintained the consistency, made the content substantial, and also refreshing. You know, Destiny definitely understand. I think are one of the few that understands this games as a service, live service realm.
That has nothing to do with the live service, though.
What you talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about more of a gameplay aspect than the actual game.
No, I'm talking about the content. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying,
I'm talking about content.
P-Rob brought up that he can do. It doesn't matter what builds or anything like that.
So let me make myself clear. I have no issue with gas because if I did, I wouldn't have to play Marvel Avengers or Destiny. So I don't have issues with gas in general, right? Because I played the hell out of Destiny. I play Marvel's Avengers, obviously, right? So I have no issues with gas games at all. I don't. My only thing, and this is just a personal thing, is I don't think when it comes to comics, I think the first thought for comics is people want these characters to come to life and they want their stories to be told. That's why I think, if you notice, Guardian of the Galaxy was well received than the Avengers.
No, let me stop you there. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
Guardians of the Galaxy, before Guardians of the Galaxy released, people were actually shitting on that game, and somewhat a good reason, because the showings were definitely not that great, but also people didn't like the fact that you couldn't control the other characters or be able to play with your friends and stuff. People had issues with that because they felt, oh, why are you only playing with Star-Lord and just calling out commands for the other characters? People wasn't feeling that at first. Guardians was definitely getting shitted on.
Well, I would say, because it was still made by Square Enix, Avengers kind of set a bad taste in our mouth as
Definitely.
Square Enix, once Avengers released, Square Enix pretty much put a target on their back. Now nobody's trusting them with any game. So I think Guardian of the Galaxies got the, fool me once, you ain't fooling me twice. And I don't think that was fair to Guardian of the Galaxy, because once you played it, a lot of people who actually
Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It's ultimately amazing. And I think that's ultimately what people really want from, because you got to think about it. What I was trying to say is gaming and comics has been around for a long time, almost hell, for as long as both of them been together, right? But it wasn't until Batman Arkham Asylum where we truly got a comic book game that was, you could put it next to Halo, you could put it next to Metal Gear, you could put it next to Final Fantasy. It was the first time a comic book game was on the top peak, and it was no longer, oh, it's a great, cash in. No, it's Game of the Year level, like, Rocksteady set the bar. But a lot of people assume that's a one-trick pony. And then Insomniac came along and repeated it. Hell, in my opinion, exceeded it. Now everybody's like, we're not trying to hear no bullshit. You can create a AAA Game of the Year level, comic book game if these developers and publishers really put the effort into. And I think the instant thought of people, hey, we have a better idea. Let's see how much money we can smooch off the gamers by creating gas. So when you see a DC property or a Marvel property go the gas route, that's going to instantly be like, man, you motherfuckers more concerned about trying to spooge as much money from us than actually giving us, you know, like, to me, this is a new era, right? Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man, even though comic book games have been around, to me, this is new territory. Trying to make these games into AAA Game of the Year level titles. So give us that. Give us, there's still more characters to go through. Give us a little bit more. Then, you know, expand and see how far you can go with this shit. But, you know, real talk, listen, I'm still waiting on the Flash. Like, come on, bro.
Real talk, P-Rock, you're not gonna like, some people not gonna like this, but I'm sure you'll agree. Hey, I blame some gamers for this bullshit though, because people kept saying $70 for a single player game isn't worth it. So what the fuck they gonna do? They gonna adapt, bro.
Persona, I can't argue with you, man. You got me on that one. I don't know what to say to that.
I get it.
You're right. Like
people, you know, you got
it's one and done.
They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want one and done games. Oh. Yeah, that's what people are saying all over Twitter. We don't want no one and done. So how do you negate that?
You know what? I don't have an answer.
You see motherfucking these big wigs and executives saying that stupid shit. What you think they saying?
You know what we could do? Let me see your gamer tag. let me see your gamer tag. Then shut the fuck up. You know, anybody be like, it's one and done. Oh, it's one and done. Let me see your gamer tag. Let me see the multiplayer you do play. If you
obviously some of the shit is definitely agreed with some of these companies. I'm not going to negate that, right? There are definitely games as a service games that have been done very poorly, and they just seem like cash grabs, or like the grind, the way they built it up just wasn't. You know, I agree with that to a certain degree, but I do think for a lot of people who hate these games, I think they hate these games because of word of mouth. And not necessarily.
I mean, why don't you ask me why I hate those games? That's the thing that you guys always do. You dismiss, like, when you have a person on the panel that's actually like, no, I'm on the other side of this. You're like, well, you can't talk about it because you never played those games anyway. It's like, well, there's a reason for that.
Okay, so what can you tell me about Avengers, Destiny, or Outriders? Tell me.
I can tell you that the way that those games are structured is to either drive you towards a cash shop or the next expansion, or it is to basically make you have such a grind, such a long time until you actually find fulfillment within the game. That is like, well, it's unappealing. I would rather have a one-off package.
You don't have to go on that long spiel. Now, my rebuttal to that question is, are you that answer that you gave me, is that coming from experience, or like where did you get that answer from?
That is just coming from looking at the game and what it offers.
Okay, moving on. Anyway, like I was saying,
you're so dismissive. You're so disrespectful.
No, I'm gonna say, Persona.
It's not disrespectful. It's you have no like, you're talking to somebody who has played all of these games.
Yeah, but yours is not the only valid experience. Like, I am allowed to say, like,
you don't have an experience.
That's basically like saying, like, Porto can't like.
You don't have an experience.
No. Basically, what you're saying is Porto can't dislike racing games because he doesn't play them. It's like, well, there's a reason he doesn't play them, because when he looks at the cars, he doesn't want to play them. And when I look at gas, I don't want to play them.
No. Porter Rock has played racing games, and it has been deemed that he does not like.
Okay, I tried playing Warframe for like 2 hours, and then I was like, nah.
You played Rogue.
Does Warframe count? Does Warframe count?
All games and service games.
No. Does Warframe count as a gas game? Does it count? Does it count? Warframe. Does it count?
All of these games.
Does it count? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I'm trying to tell you that your opinion does not matter in this conversation because you have no experience in the game.
Does Warframe count? Like, just say yes or no. Does it count?
Go back to saying what
Warframe, yes or no? Warframe counts as a game as a service, right? I tried it and I was like,
Warframe is actually a great game, though.
I know that, but it's a great gas game.
It's highly revered.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Are you dissing? All right, so you say, did you enjoy your experience with Rogue Company?
Yeah, of course. I played it for like 1,000 hours.
That's a gas game.
Yeah, I get that.
But your experience with Avengers, Outriders, and Destiny, you have none.
But the thing is, I haven't. No. I didn't say those were bad games. I just said that gas games in general.
Never said you had no experience. So even if you were to say the game is bad, that would be based in nothing.
Yeah, if I said the game was bad, then yeah, you're right to dismiss it. But I'm telling you that the structure of a gas game. I told you the structure of the gas game. Yeah, which I have played, right? Yeah, because Warframe counts as a gas game. Yes or no? So I tried it. I played it. Am I valid enough? Can I say something now? Can I talk now?
You don't like gas games. That's perfectly fine. I don't have no issue.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to tell you that there are other people that look at this game that you like or that you tolerate, and then they're like,
other people. We're talking about you because you have no experience. That is the.
What do you mean? I have no experience. I do have experience.
I'm talking about.
I did try a gas game.
Games that we're talking about, bruh.
But we're not talking about these games. We're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yes, we are.
That was literally the game we're talking about, and none of us have played it.
Brother. Listen. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand. Okay.
No. Don't fucking say that because that's just so fucking dismissive. You don't actually listen to me, and you're trying to just dismiss me because I don't happen to like the games that you do. And because I have an issue with the structure.
I don't have an issue with you not liking the games because you have no experience. So your opinion on all of this does not matter, which is why I'm trying to move on.
My opinion is more valid than yours because more people stand where I stand than you do.
That's
straight up. More people dismiss gas games than people like them. There's a reason that these people didn't come out there was like, oh, Suicide Squad is a gas game.
Alright, but what games are the most popular games out there?
Multiplayer
so you're actually in the minority.
How am I in the minority? Like, look at the top selling games. Was it Elden Ring single player game? Multiplayer game, Call of Duty, not a gas game.
Legends,
Call of Duty is not a gas game. You get
Final Fantasy 14.
Man, come on, is it a gas game?
Yes, it is.
Fair enough.
Call of Duty's got seasons. It's got all this free to play shit and all the microtransactions, all the things that you claim you hate. Warzone, all this other shit. Apex Legends got microtransactions. Fortnite is one of the most popular live service games. Final Fantasy 14 is one of the most popular live service games that you actually have to pay a subscription to even get into the goddamn servers every month. And these are the most traditional MMO. These are the most popular games out right now. When you have people,
I'm not even like a big fan of like games as a service per se, but I'm not going to be as dismissive as everyone else just due to the fact that it's game. Because some of the best games I played have been games as a service, and I enjoyed them. Have they been popular? Have they ended? Sure, absolutely. Which is a shame, and I get why people are so hesitant to get into it. But not every single game that is games as a service. Everybody has this quick notion that is predatory, that it's going to be a bad game, that it doesn't have content. Not every game is like that, bro.
Hey Barry, I got one for him. Watch this.
Hold on,
you do realize that.
Let me do something real quick. Let me shout out the chat real quick. Yeah, so Jimmy Harrison, he says big shout out to you guys. Persona once again, phenomenal show, bro. That's why I wanted to do it, man. He's shouting you out. You know what I'm
appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't forget, best PlayStation podcast every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. The L Web 100. He says we hate these games because they release with low content and missing features. You know what I'm saying?
So,
all right, continue.
Okay. So the thing that I was going to say was, it's funny how, he's dismissing, again, and this goes back to what I was saying about games that you need to have experience in. Outriders and Godfall. You know what these games don't have, Porter Rock, J Barry? Extreme.
A population of players.
You know what these games don't have?
What?
Player count?
Microtransactions.
And Godfall, yeah.
Well, you would know that if you actually played the game.
I play Godfall,
but I'm not talking about Godfall. Like,
this isn't
adventure. You think
all of these games fall into those categories, those tropes. Outriders is it was meant to be a live service game. Godfall is meant to be a live service game.
And both of those have a player count of what?
And those games, it doesn't matter.
Nothing. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Like, that's the entire point. Like, a games as a service model doesn't serve games in general.
People move on from games. And that's why games keep getting created. If people didn't move on from games, why would games?
Fair enough.
If people wouldn't move away from games, why would new games come out? Why is there a new COD every year?
Fair enough. All right, cool, man. Do what you do.
Most people on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 right now, you think a new COD's not coming out?
Gas games
They're not working on the next COD right now?
Except for a few exceptions that I suppose don't, but they're not for me anyway. So when the Suicide Squad comes out and it's like, I'm a games as a service, I'm not buying it. That's all. Immediately.
This is the second time that you've been talking about something you ain't got no experience in on this show.
No, I actually do have experience. It's just that you don't think my experience is valid because you think that I have to play the exact same games as you. It's like,
not at all.
I know I'm not going to enjoy these games. Why would I make myself play those games when I know I'm not going to enjoy them?
Is your experience in Callisto Protocol also valid?
I didn't play Callisto Protocol. I told you I don't play horror games.
My fault, bro. But you giving an opinion though, like you did. Go ahead, P-Rock.
I'm gonna say this. Like I don't have issues with gas games, right? But what I do have an issue is motherfuckers want me to play as Captain Boomerang, but I can't play as Flash. I'm gonna have an issue. I'm gonna be like, so I can't be Wonder Woman. I can't play Green Lantern. Let's not even talk about being Superman. That's not even good enough. But yeah, Puerto Rico, go play Captain Boomerang. Nah, bro, you ain't doing this to me. That dude is so far down the list. And listen, Suicide Squad is trash, man. Nobody really gives a fuck about them. Can we all be honest? The movie's trash. Maybe the anime or the animated series is okay.
That new movie that they came out with, Suicide Squad, was pretty good.
Which one? With
it wasn't. It really wasn't.
The one with Mr. Patriot and shit.
With John Cena. With
Idris Elba and
that was trash.
Starro. I like that.
Shit, bro. I went to the theater.
That was trash.
I was like,
Extreme, did you actually watch the movie or did you just see the trailer? My fault.
Shit, he's playing. I saw him. I'm like, man.
Let me stop.
Oh shit, man. I'm just saying though, man. You know,
my fault.
Bro, there's a long list of characters we need to go through before we even think of playing as Captain Boomerang. Like,
but P-Rock, we got a Wonder Woman game coming too. That's being made by Monolith, and it's supposed to have the Nemesis Nemesis system.
I know, so that's what's saving them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying though. Oh, P-Rock, Jez wants to join in. Hey yo, all right. Let me see. Hold on, Jez. I think Jez is also he's gonna grind his gear. Hey yo, Jazz, hit me up on whatchamacallit. Hit me up on.
I'm not gatekeeping anything.
He said stop gate.
Yo, this hit me up in the message. This is the thing about the game community, man.
Hit me up.
This is the thing about the gaming community, man. This is my thing about the gaming community, man. If this was Xbox, y'all would be on these fools' necks, bruh. Cut it out, man. The man is saying stupid shit. Respectfully, you understand?
What are you talking
Everyone
about?
is free to have everyone is free to have their own opinion. Now I'm talking because the chat's saying, "Oh yeah, Persona's being disrespectful and gatekeeping." I'm not being disrespectful on anything.
You're being disrespectful. You're not gatekeeping.
I'm not being disrespectful because I disagree with you and think your opinion.
You dismiss my opinion because you think that somehow I need to quality check against your standards, and that's ridiculous. No, I'm not gonna go play Destiny just so I can have an opinion on a game that I know I'm not going to enjoy.
Okay, so then that's.
But I wasn't talking about Destiny. I didn't say Destiny was a bad game. I didn't even say Suicide Squad was gonna be a bad game. I just said that as soon as I say game as a service, that's a turn off.
Why do you keep cutting me off?
You know what? Go ahead.
You said that games as a service games are bad.
No, I didn't. I said that they don't appeal to me. Again, they don't appeal to me. That's what I said.
You keep talking.
No, but you can't say that I say something that I didn't say.
I'm trying to.
How about you try to explain with the truth?
Exactly. Let me give the context, bruh. Calm down.
I didn't say games as a service was bad.
Let me give the context, bruh. Calm down.
Okay, give a true one.
I'm trying to give the context. You said games as a service were bad.
I never said that. Like you keep starting with a false premise. I did not say.
You got it, bro.
No, you can't start with I said games as a service were bad. I just said that I do not like them.
Said, bro. I can't even give you the context because you keep talking.
No. Because you can't lie. You can't start with a lie and then you expect me to just sit here and be like, well, I guess I said that. No, I didn't say that.
I'm trying to give the context of what I'm trying to say that you said. You keep interrupting me.
I didn't say that. Could you start with something other than I say games as a service were bad? Because I never said they were bad.
You got it. You're right.
All right, cool. Right. Thank you.
What's up?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anyway, he said games as a service is bad because they had bad game design and they were grinding.
I never said they were bad.
Yo, shout out to Kratos for the super chat. He said, "Give this man Extreme some Oreos and milk. Sponsor my Xbox." Oh shit! Let me just say something. This one thing, Extreme. Like only I can get away with saying something like racing games is bad, only because it's true. You see? So like racing games are bad. It's true. Like all you do is left turns.
I love GT7, man. I love the game. I don't agree with you on that one.
All y'all do is left turns and say I made a better left turn than the other guy.
Did you actually play the game?
That's just what? Racing games? Yes.
No, not you. I'm saying he said he liked GT. I just want to make sure he actually played the game and then watch it.
Of course I played it. No, go check it. Go check it.
Listen, you play one racing game, you play them all. You press a button, 4 wheels move, you make a left turn, and then you tell the other guy, haha, I made the left turn.
You know what? Half the time you make right turns too. Okay? So there is that.
Oh, shit, Virgil, you said something? Let me find out. My bad, Virgil. Alright, so hey, Jazz, alright, True Virgil. G's persona got his boot on the back of his neck. Oh shit, man. Hey, this is a hostile-free environment.
Hey, Porter Rock, if I told you that MLB The Show is a terrible game, what would be your response to me?
I would be like, you're a communist. You're a communist.
Would you ask me why?
No, I would just be like, listen, the opinions of a communist need not be taken. All right, it is America's sport. You're a socialist. You're a socialist commie. Get your ass back to Russia. And go and play whatever you want to play. You're a communist.
I do think baseball is boring as fuck.
But you know what? Even without playing the game, I'll be honest. I will understand why. A lot of people find baseball, just the sport in itself, is boring. So I know if you don't like MLB The Show, chances are you don't even like baseball. The only is like MLB The Show is not the type of game where you can not like or know anything about baseball, but you're still gonna like the game. It doesn't work that way.
I play 3-inning games in MLB The Show.
You can't do the 4-9 innings?
Dude, no.
Anything more than
like
3?
Short game, super short. No, I do 3 innings. It's the bottom of the ninth every game. It's like we're doing something.
You get 3 innings.
I can't get that.
After that, Jazz is falling asleep. He's like,
I fall asleep, dude. I can't make past the 6th. 7th inning stretch, I'm out.
He's like, whoa. He's like, I can't take it. You got 3 innings. That's it.
Dude, and then I gotta manage my pitches. 3 innings, it's great. I don't have to manage any pitches. My starting pitches throwing bombs. It's great.
Jazz is like, if you can't do it in the first 3 innings, then what the hell are you gonna do in the rest?
What is an inning, by the way, just so that I can
it's a gas. The game is it's a games as a service. You pay for extra ones.
So it's all right. So you know how. So you like soccer, football, right? You have a half. You have the first half and second half. Well, in baseball, it's spread across 9 times, so it's 9 innings. So each so each inning you have a top and a bottom. The top represents the visiting team, their opportunity. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with cricket, right?
No, I don't like cricket. You know what? It's fine. I feel like this is going to take too long.
Each inning,
let's go back to gaming.
Yeah, each inning, you have the opportunity to play offense and defense. The top of the inning, the top of the inning, the visiting team bats to try to score. The bottom of the inning, the home team bats to try to score.
You might have to play baseball to understand it.
Yeah, and then you do that for 9 innings. All right, Jazz, you came in because I'm pretty sure something grinds your gear. You heard my podcast.
Someone's grinding my gears, dude.
Something's grinding your gears, and you have to unleash. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the invite, man. This is my first time on the Porter Rocks. I watch you every Tuesday, man. Awesome show. And I'm with the What's Up guys, dude. Congratulations on the awards. Congratulations, best PlayStation podcast. Honored to be with you guys as well, man. That was a great show. Great contribution for everybody. It was fun. Yeah, so this grinds my gears on this games as a service. Dude, this is the thing. For me, I am sick of all the talking from these developers Show us the goddamn games. Like all these little leaks of here's a battle pass, all this. Dude, if Suicide Squad's not showing some 20-minute gameplay, some dude just playing the game and talking about it, then the gameplay's probably not there. I'm just sick of the industry being very kind of close to home and being afraid to show their games. And I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know what it is, but it's doing a detriment because prejudgments are being made based on leaks, based on just like, oh, we heard it's a games as a service. The problem with games as a service is that there's basically a perception that there's going to be some sort of grinding those gears, like the grind. Like there's gonna be something that you want or something that you want to achieve, and you're gonna have to just keep doing a repetitive action over and over again to get there. That happened in the bootleg Avengers, stunt double Avengers. Man, the campaign was decent. Post game, they could keep that crap, man. I was done. Once I killed MODOK or whatever his name was, I'm done. I was like, I'm not here fighting goddamn robots. And that's it. All the villains in the Marvel Studios, and you're fighting bootleg-ass robots with the bootleg stunt double goddamn Avengers. Then they got the balls to go put Times Square Spider-Man in there doing cartwheels because he's some bootleg-ass character. He was doing some slow-ass cartwheels. Like, that wasn't even Spider-Man. And they just say, grind away and just keep doing that stuff. Dude, the end game sucks. Same thing with that other game. What was it? The one that they launched with that what was the one from the Borderlands developers? That friggin' what you were talking about. It was the Kings. What the hell was it called? The launch title for the PS5. That had another grind after the campaign.
Godfall.
Yeah, playing that game, the gameplay was decent and stuff like that. But once you got to the end, it's like, no, now the real game begins. And I'm like, no, I'm done. And that's where I don't like this kind of grind, but I find that that's not necessarily that's not as a service game as some of these other service games where they are free. And I know the gentleman was talking about what was it? The friggin' not Warhawk, but Warframe. Yeah, Warframe. Warframe was free. So like when you have a free game, and it's a very complete free game, and then there's like a service to kind of keep going. Same thing with Genshin Impact. Like there are definitely different categories as games as a service. If a game just has a battle pass in it for content, I wouldn't consider that more as a service stuff. I'm not a huge fan of like there's like some sort of grind or something like that to do stuff, because I'm just like, the gameplay has to be there. And that's where Destiny really takes it to the next level, because they know gameplay. The shooting mechanics are spot on. Yes, you're doing the same thing, but the gameplay is there. If the gameplay is there, then you're just playing the game. Same thing with Call of Duty. Like the gameplay is there. So you basically just you're naturally going through a battle pass because you're playing it because the gameplay is so engaging. So some of these games take advantage of that.
That's what I said, Joe. Like, yeah. In my video and even on Twitter, I said the games, with these games as a service games, they still need to be games that are fun, have substantial content and consistency. That's where I think a lot of this stuff falls short with games as a service games when they try to build these live service games, is they put something out and there's only 8 to 10 missions. Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, what the fuck?
Yep.
Nah, man, you need to have more than that.
Exactly.
But you also need to have that content roadmap. So I agree with that 100%. Yeah. But my thing is with Suicide Squad, people are angry, and we haven't even seen full gameplay yet. Like,
that's the problem.
The information's not out, and I'm like, that's 100%, and that's where I'm like, yo, for people that are angry, where are you going to buy this game? Where are you going to buy this? Especially after
I was gonna get it. And then they're like,
I'm gonna tell you. So first, Miles. Shout out to Miles, the super chat. He says, I rewound the show to hear what he said. Literally 8 minutes ago. Gas games suck, except for the exceptions that I suppose don't. Is he drunk? So I think he's talking to you, Extreme. So I guess
I stand by that. Gas games suck in as general rule, and then there are exceptions that some people like.
We about to collect your pee. We about to collect your urine sample. We about to collect your urine sample.
Extreme, you going low to
I stand by that. I stand by that. What are you talking about?
I
stand by that.
What I just explained, what you said.
Gas games suck. almost all of them, and then there are some.
You just told me that you did not say that, bro.
I never said that they were bad.
You got people. You got people.
It can suck and not be bad. Like it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, like you know, everyone thinks GT7 sucks.
Yeah, you got it.
And I don't think it's a bad game. I like it.
Now,
GT7 is a gas game, bro.
Fair.
Come on, man. Extreme.
Gran Turismo 7 is a game as a service game. You do know that, right? That's a gas game. Gran Turismo 7. Didn't you say you enjoy that game?
I do. I really am a big fan of it.
Hey,
you said it's a gas. So, anyway, he needs a reminder.
Hey, I'm gonna say
gas
this.
game.
So, Cali Yuga.
I think this guy is trolling, so I'm not going to engage no more because this guy is trolling.
Shout out to Cali Yuga. He says, P-Rock, put that boy in the room. I don't have a room. I don't. That's
you talking about with next gen with
I don't have that room.
Send them over.
I'm from New York. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. That's also the kitchen, the living room, and the dining room, all in the same space.
Put them in.
I'm gonna say this. So Persona. I'm gonna say from my perspective, right? Specifically to Suicide Squad. Yes, I'm not buying it, right? But the reason why I'm gonna say disappointed. I'm not gonna say I'm upset. I'm like, oh mad, because I think that's too extreme words. I am disappointed because a specific developer, Rocksteady, and I'm not saying they don't have the creative freedom. They could do what they want, right? Do what you want. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. But just being a fan of Rocksteady and what they did with Arkham Asylum franchise, I would have loved to see that talent move on to another major superhero and do for the Flash, Green Lantern, do for them what they did for them.
I get that, but right? I feel like we still need, because we've only seen like trailers with bits and pieces of gameplay. I feel like we still need to see something a little bit more substantial than a couple of trailers and a leaked screenshot of a battle pass to really pass true judgment. I do think it's definitely cause for concern because this shit comes out in May and we still haven't gotten anything. And granted, it's only the third week in January. So okay, fine, you got 4.5 months left, but it's like, how much longer you gonna make someone wait for something substantial?
I agree. So what I'm saying is, my issue is the fact that this project exists. Period. Instead of, and again, I'm not trying to say I'm gonna force you to do. I'm just saying as my own personal being a fan of Rocksteady, that let me do a better example. It's kind of like when Ninja Theory announced Bleeding Edge, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I got it. You want to do something? We still don't
got Hellblade too.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, listen, you want to branch out? Fine, got it. But when Microsoft announced, they got Ninja Theory, I was like, yeah. And then their first announcements, oh yeah, they greenlit Bleeding Edge, and I'm like, all right. I mean, do what you listen. My thing was do what you got to do. I mean, I'm not gonna knock a developer from trying to do something different beyond. They don't want to be pigeonholed. Cool, and I accept that. I accept Rocksteady not want to be pigeonholed to just a single player studio that just I got it. You understand what I'm saying? But it still kind of hurts. Like goddamn Rocksteady, we could be doing Flash right now, and who knows how big this game is. But I got it. They're gonna do Suicide Squad. I wish them the best. But it's Captain Boomerang, bro. Like what the fuck?
My worry comes from the fact that as great as Gotham Knights was, and I thought it was a cool game, it also had a lot of issues and a lot of gripes that I definitely couldn't overlook. And although it's a different studio, I still worry because WB Games has been going through a lot of trouble, especially after being bought by Discovery. Yeah. So I'm definitely worried that this project isn't necessarily something that Rocksteady wants to do, or it's not being done out of love like they did with the Batman series. Especially looking at what WB Montreal did with Gotham Knights. Very secretive about the performance. A lot of
when they hiding stuff. When they hiding stuff.
Away to co-op, going from 4 to 2.
Yeah, no next gen features. No next gen anything. That's it only being 30 frames. Then trying to blame it on tetherless co-op.
Shut up,
and then they hype up this 4-player co-op mode, right? And then you play the co-op mode, and that shit is garbage and it's buggy. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck, bruh? Mm-hmm. And so that's what has me most worried about Rocksteady and Suicide Squad. Although Rocksteady has a better track record because of the Batman series,
but this is a new.
This is a new era. Yeah. You feel me?
And I can't knock them for trying to something different. I can't knock them. It's just, again, I can say my only issue is just, Rocksteady was like the chosen one. It's kind of like Insomniac, right? Insomniac's next project is not a gas game. They're giving more what we want. Now they're going to, after Spider-Man, they're going to jump into a whole new character and they're going to try to do for Wolverine what they did for Spider-Man. That's what we want. But I understand if one day Insomniac's going to be like, yo, we kind of bored with this. We're going to switch it up. Kind of like what Guerrilla did. Guerrilla went from a shooter and when they decided to do an RPG with robots. And when I first heard that rumor, I'm like, an RPG with robots? I was like, oh, shit. They're going to fuck this shit up. But you saw what happened. They did great, so I can't,
Yeah, but the difference is that this is on the PlayStation, so PlayStation ain't gonna let their dog shit leave out the door.
That's true.
Well, the thing is, it's like,
but I'm gonna be honest. No, go ahead, Jez.
Oh, I'm gonna say, like, you think, like, with the access of the internet and social media, that they should be sharing more and more of their games because they have direct access to the consumers with YouTube, with Twitter, with their websites, and of all these times, like, it seems like everybody's just not showing their stuff. Like, when are they going to show it? Is it going to be a tweet on a Thursday? There's no showcase from now until March or May.
I think that I really think that what game was that? That Cyberpunk shit scared the shit out of every developer.
Everybody.
Good.
I'm telling you.
Good.
I'm telling you, that's what it did.
They deserve it.
Well, if they got Cyberpunk, then they should have showed
everybody.
Good.
I'm telling you, I think even like PlayStation, I think that Cyberpunk situation, it scared the living shit out of everyone.
Halo Infinite reveal.
Halo Infinite, holy Jesus.
Yeah, the Halo
that should have scared everybody.
Halo, Cyberpunk, and there's another game
that's the origins.
It really scared everyone to the point where they are like, yo, we cannot show this until we know that this shit is ready.
Facts. Shout out to Jimmy Harrison. He said, so games suck, but they are not bad. I guess that's a new thing, and I'm getting old. Laugh aloud. Much P-Rock.
Can I respond to that?
Can you explain how a game could suck?
I will.
Not be
Listen,
bad?
Just take a meal. I hate fish. Okay, you could put the best fish meal in front of me, and I'll think it sucks. Doesn't mean it's bad. I just personally sucks for me.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, sucks. That means that it's bad. You don't like it.
I can't stand seafood. It's disgusting.
No, I can't stand seafood. Like, it's just like you could put the best, most excellent seafood thing, and I know it is good. And I'm just like, no, this sucks.
But did you watch somebody else eat seafood, or did you eat it yourself? My fault, y'all.
Nah. So I can see. So it's kind of like me with racing games. Racing games is trash, but I recognize why GT7 and Forza Horizon are popular and great for other people. Like, I'm not gonna dismiss. Like, you guys, you love GT7. I'm not gonna dismiss your opinion. I get it. These are probably one of the best sim games you could play. For those who like Forza Horizon, probably one of the best arcade style simcade, I guess they call it. I can see why those games are great, even though I personally don't like it. So to me, it's trash, but I get why they're great and they're popular and they sell well. Is that what you're trying to say?
So you get it? Yeah, absolutely. Like, when I look at Destiny, I see so many things.
I'm lying. I'm capping. I don't know why anybody likes a goddamn racing game. It's the trashiest genre I have ever seen in fucking gaming. It blows my mind how y'all guys can spend 80 hours making left turns. Now I'm playing. I'm bugging out. I'm acting stupid. But I get what you're saying, right? Yo, this is crazy. Let's see. Lester, he says, I've never been a fan of superheroes, but I want to see a Glass game from Unbreakable and Split. All right. Hey, hey, that's what I always said that. How did M. Night Shyamalan created a better universe than DC? I always wondered, bro, because that split shit threw me for a loop. But anyway, all right. So I think, unless anybody got anything else to say, I think we could cut it short here. Bueller? We good?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Jazz,
we need to see more games, baby.
Jazz,
I see more games.
Yeah, Jazz, we definitely going to link up. You know, I got to get you on as a guest. Full time, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So from start to finish and stuff like that. But with that, let's just go straight to the outros. Let's start with Extreme, the man who says games suck, but they're not bad.
Hey, listen.
I'm gonna use that shit. This game sucks. I'm gonna do that in a review. This game sucks, but it's not bad.
Gas games are seafood to me. Like that's basically
that's almost as good as like Pentiment was very popular, but nobody played it.
A popular game no one played. Oh, shout out to Extreme,
exactly.
Man. Oh, Extreme.
But yeah, listen. As the final outro, I just want to thank you again, Persona and Jay Barry, for your interview. Daniel Bussetti, that was a great moment. That was just a great thing to see. I really enjoy your podcast. So, even though you get on here and you disrespect me because, I've got better gaming takes than you. But it's all good. Love your podcast and I'll keep watching. And that's what it is.
Keep messing with Persona. He's going to challenge your PSN ID. Don't make him do it.
He's right typing it in.
It's Info Extreme. It's right there. It's right there.
He's gonna check off all the games as a service that you play. He's already doing it now.
My brother grind.
Go ahead and do it.
What's grind my gears, Jazz? We will definitely get you from start to finish onto this podcast. But for now, let people know where they can find you.
Sure, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Guys wanted to jump on. Yeah, it was awesome. I was playing some Last of Us, and then I was listening to the show. But thank you again, guys. Hit that like button. You can find me over at Jez7780 Gaming Grindhouse. Grinds my gears over there, and Jez7780 on the Twitters.
All right. So I'm gonna let you know because Persona forgot, and Persona, I'm gonna remind you again. You both do not need an invite. You are now family. Just pull up to the fridge. You got some shit to get off your chest. You think somebody's saying some bullshit? Hop right in, grab a beer, do what you gotta do. Alright?
No doubt,
man. Right. You guys are family and stuff like that. Of course, the dynamic duo, Jay Barry and Persona. We'll start with Barry. What's going on, my brother? Let them know where we can find you.
Yeah, man. Great show. You know what I mean? A lot of interesting opinions here. But at the end of the day, man, all I'm saying, man, is that don't just write games off just because it's a gas game. I'm with a lot of people when it comes to gas games as far as like the disagreements and the dislikes. But you can't be praising 12 gas games coming to PlayStation, but
it's coming.
Supposedly, game is coming. It's going to be gas. You out here want to lynch it.
Listen,
you know what I mean? Because I have a great memory, and we have timestamps on whoops. That a lot of people would disagree with my opinions with this whole 12 gas games. But all of a sudden, you guys are loving it.
I'm gonna say
they hype for factions though, Barry, and that's a gas.
I was about to say that's a big gas.
But I'm saying this is Naughty Dog though, man. This is Naughty Dog. Like that's different. They different. They're the exception.
Hypocrites.
They're the exception. You got like no, they're the exception. Like if Naughty Dog made a racing game, I would be like.
You play?
I will contemplate. For 5 seconds. I will contemplate, and then after 5 seconds, I'll be like, nah,
trash.
But they'll get me thinking for 5 seconds, though. I'll be like, that's Naughty Dog. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit! And then of course,
enjoy your night, man, and we out.
and of course, we got Gaming with Persona. He had a ladies' night last Thursday.
Yeah,
check that out, man. That shit was amazing, bro. I'm telling you, man, you and Barry.
I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Yeah, I mean, you and Barry be hitting it, bro. They coming with the hits. They coming with the hits. You know what I'm saying? That's this community's Naughty Dog. You know what I'm saying? They're coming up. They're coming up with the hits. You know, right now, they're doing the Crash Bandicoot Jack and Daxter. But wait till they bring out the Uncharted. That's when Wup's really gonna get lit. They're in the Jack and Daxter phase. They're coming up with the hits. They're making the name for themselves, but they're gonna drop that Uncharted.
We might come out with as a service. Be careful.
Oh Oh damn!
Oh shit! Let me speak.
Hey, listen, man. Let me ask you a question.
Oh damn! Look, they're saying this podcast suck, but it's not bad.
Dude,
oh,
I got the model right here.
Oh god! You see what you did? Yo, E, man. Damn. This podcast sucks, but it's not bad.
We'll call them gas. We got pass. Podcast as a service.
If I watch movies, does that mean that I'm a director? Let me chill. Listen, guys. I appreciate everyone pulling out your PR.
Xbox got a bunch of lawyers.
Hey, one more super chat. One more super. And Manuel said, "Was it gas games or seafood? Blah. Not bad, but blah." Oh shit!
Oh, then I think somebody said something to me. Phil DVG. He said one. He says, "Jez will grind gears, but won't grind in games." That's damn right.
Oh shit!
I got damn right. Because you want to know why?
I gotta get it.
That's right,
man.
I got mine.
They just called this podcast free to play. Oh shit, man! See what you started, bro? Nah, we got. Yo, hey, check out Whoops. Every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Jez, when does Grind My Gears come in? The Grindhouse?
It's on Monday nights at 8 o'clock.
Monday nights at 8 o'clock, and when we out of here, because this podcast is trash, but it's not that bad.
It sucks. It's that it sucks, but it's not bad. You gotta say it. You gotta say it right.
Take care. Good night.
This is crazy. Peace out, man.
This is wild. Yo, this. Oh shit. Yeah.